What up, fools? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas. Welcome back. This episode is brought to you by Continental Belts and Hoses. Whenever you're under the hood, have you ever noticed how often you see Continental belts? Have you even looked? Look! There's a reason you see so many of them. Continental is one of the world's largest original equipment suppliers for the automotive industry. Automakers around the world insist on Continental for original equipment belts. The U.S. Big Three, BMW, Volkswagen, over 30% of all new vehicles sold in North America. You know what that says? It says Continental knows OE because they are OE. Continental's OE Technology Series Multi-V belt for the automotive aftermarket are precision engineered for perfect fit, form, and function with a true OE pedigree. They're the belts engines already know. So you can confidently spec Continental's Multi-V belts. There's one for 98% of vehicles on the road today. You might not know it, but Continental is also a leader in automotive technology, electronic components for things like autonomous driving and accident-free zones. That focus on innovation is in every product they make, including OE Technology Series aftermarket belts. Check them out next time you need belts to replace your dry, cracked old belts. It can happen, folks, and if you got a problem with a belt, it can lead to much bigger problems. A belt is an easy, cheap thing to fix. Check out Continental. Okay, this episode is also brought to you by Beeline Coffee, the smoking tire. Jesus, I can't say it right. I get flustered every time. The Roasted Tire 3.0 is now out in the Beeline Coffee store. It is absolutely delicious. Micro batch coffee, car themed, and car themed coffee, if the coffee isn't good, would be an awful cheeseball thing to do. Fortunately, Beeline Coffee is delicious. It is the best coffee I've ever tasted. The Roasted Tire 3.0 is my personal blend. It's for the refined palate, as it were. And if you go to BeelineCoffee.com, use code TST, I will give you 15% off your entire order, folks. 15% off your entire order. Big or small, it's good year-round. It doesn't have to be a special holiday thing. BeelineCoffee.com, code TST. Okay, this episode of the show, this is a really fun one. I'm a fan of the Classic Car Club, both in theory and in practice, and we are fortunate to have Phil, Zach, and Mike in studio. Phil is the original founder of the Classic Car Club in the UK. Zach and Mike handle the New York Classic Car Club. They're in town because they're going to expand to LA, and that means my membership, which I'm convinced was an honorary gift that I'll never use because I live across the country. I'm going to take advantage of it when they come out here. These guys have some great stories. It's just a really fun hang, this show. One of my favorites of the last few months. It's the boys from Classic Car Club on the Smoking Tire Podcast. All right, ready?
Let's do this.
Let's fucking do it. Smoking Tire Podcast. This is how we start on a beautiful Wednesday afternoon. You see that sunset on the way over here? It was fucking great.
It's pretty nice.
Evening show. The gents from Classic Car Club are in studio. We got Zach Moseley. We got Phil Cavanaugh. And we got Mike Prichinello. Hello, boys.
Hey, man.
Hello.
Welcome.
How are we doing?
My first time meeting Phil, the OG founder, as it turns out. I thought you were like a PA for a second, but I made that mistake. I apologize, sir.
Well, next time maybe I get some earphones.
Well, you get to hold the mic close to you. You're not gonna fall victim
I
to
kind of
wandering.
feel like the Frank Sinatra of Classic Car Club.
Your hair is so good. I didn't want to fuck it up.
know.
Zach's shitty hair didn't seem to matter.
I got to borrow that hat.
Yeah. No, it's good to have you guys here, man. We go back a ways, at least with me and Mike and Zach.
We go back since Aston Martin days.
Since pre fucking videos and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You used to inscribe shit on stone, right? We
What?
put it out. That was a long time ago.
What did I do on Stone? What did you do on Stone?
Never mind, man. We'll keep it moving.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Inscribe? Never mind.
Great
no,
tablets.
really, what are you talking about? Tablets?
Yeah,
oh,
great
like
tablets.
Moses? Was that a Moses joke? Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Don't want to keep.
okay.
Jesus.
I need more of this coffee. No, it was a Jesus joke.
Keep
Oh,
up.
right.
Keep up.
Man, you guys are fucking killing the game, it seems. Properties are looking up. West side of Manhattan.
All right. We're trying to figure
Baller.
out. Yeah. We want to do this on LA too.
I didn't know if we wanted to like bring that up.
Whatever,
we can.
It doesn't matter.
Like,
Oh, we can. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
LA has been on the radar since the beginning.
it should be on the radar since the beginning.
Is
because
LA
it's
a good car town?
I hear it's a car town. What is that fucking line from Spinal Tap?
You guys have a lot of
Boston shows canceled. That's not a real college town.
You guys have a lot. You have like all the GT3s in the world are just daily driving around.
Did you know the statistic on GT3s in 2018? 40% of 911s sold were GT cars. 40.
That's a lot.
It's so many GT cars.
Yeah. Well, that's all of them, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's just how many they made.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
As opposed, and what other 911s aren't sold?
You order them specially. You don't just make them.
We were talking about how in London, Phil was filling us in, right? So in the last 5 years, a 911S, which is not base, but we'll call it base.
Yeah, a normal 911
base for 992.
is now $25,000 more than it was 5 years ago.
Do you mean to buy one new?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So you get a lot more things. You get a lot more power. You get turbo motor. You get a lot more stuff, right?
This is like we were talking about yesterday with Moseley. Like cars are just getting
we're proud
more
of them.
Expensive, and Porsches, of course,
good for Porsche, man. You know,
I mean,
everybody wants one.
I mean, I was talking. You know, I'm doing this parking garage around the corner, and I was talking with my branding guy yesterday. He's making me an app, and he's doing my logo and all this stuff. And he goes, "Well, what are the?" You know, he gave me like this quiz on. You know, like almost like a personality quiz, but like a business quiz that will help him create this shit somehow. And I wanted to ask you about your app, by the way, because I like it. And but he goes, "What are the 3 brands you admire the most?" And I said, you know, Ferrari, Rolex, and Nike Jordan, because they all have total disdain for their customers. They fucking charge as much as they could possibly get away with. Their only competition is their used market. There's no other competition, and yet people just clamor for that shit.
Literally kill each other.
Yeah, they beat each other up for it at the door. If you go into a Rolex store right now and try and ask for a stainless steel watch, they will laugh in your face. Like, they won't even say, "I'm sorry, we don't have that." They go, "What are you fucking kidding me? Look at this president with diamonds on it. It's fucking 90 grand. You got to buy 3 of these. Maybe I'll give you a Submariner."
They sound like assholes.
They are.
Okay.
I have.
So
that's why
you're just aspiring to be more of an asshole then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to be on that side of the asshole fence, not this side where I can't get in. Yes.
You want to be the asshole shitting, not catching the shit.
When you talked about like how long it is that we've known each other, I thought it was gonna be like how much has changed, but it's actually just right where it started. You just want to be an asshole.
Exactly the same. All things are the same. We just have a little more money now.
Mission accomplished.
So the idea, Phil, for Classic Car Club originally, how far back do we go for this?
1994, we started working on the business plan for it, and the idea was, it started off, we were into, myself and my brother started the business, and we were into, we grew up in an area in West London, give you a quick, which had a United States Air Force base. So the guys used to, all the servicemen used to fly in kind of crazy American cars. So we grew up around, this is in the early 70s, mid 70s. We grew up around Camaros and Mustangs and all sorts of bits. So that got us interested, and then we saw American Graffiti, and that kind of sparked off a load of further interest, and we got into buying cars in the early 80s, and always really interested in cars.
I take it England's import laws were a little more flexible than America's import laws are now?
You're talking not more than 20 years, or I suppose 25 years after the Second World War, so we were still recovering London got hammered.
Bring it all in.
Yeah, get in anything, money, dollar, whatever, bring it in, drugs, get it in there. And so anyway, we grew up with this kind of this mythical American motor culture, and then we went off, and I did construction. My brother became a lawyer, and then we kind of regrouped in the early 90s, started making a bit of money, buying some cars, and then kind of originally we looked at doing a pure rental business based on old cars. So the problem with that was in the weather, and you'd have no income for 3, 4, 5 months of the year. So we just started playing about with business models that were similar, and there was timeshare property around at the time, but there was also timeshare yachts around where they had already established in the early 90s. So we started developing a plan, and then the whole membership angle, because all the cars that we launched with back in 1995 were older cars. the membership was a bit like a country club, golf club. Well, we've got to get people respecting the cars because they weren't the strongest, you know, the strongest cars. We had old 60s E-types, and we had like Triumph TR6s and stuff like that.
Cars that are fragile even if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be careful on the clutch, careful on the brakes, careful on the steering. I mean, you just, you know, they were old cars. So the club from day one, and this is interesting because fast forward 24 years, and the club aspect and the community aspect, that is actually what it's all about. That's what the business is all about.
Yeah.
It's trying to get people connecting with each other over cars, and we've been through.
It's almost more of a social club than a car rental company,
right?
It's
a community.
Totally.
It's a community. That's what it is. It's and now with the kind of and the three of us. I mean, I've known these fools for 15 years, 16 years, something like that, and we've even seen we've been through cycles of how we manage the club and how the club is run, and then, you know, moving to new premises, and we have our bar, restaurant and everything now. So we're kind of, but the DNA.
Is the bar restaurant in New York?
Yeah, it's in
the
club.
space.
Yeah,
You haven't been to our new space.
No, I've been to the new space. The one on the river.
In June,
but I haven't been there. I was there for the drive like premiere and Q&A thing like a year and a half ago. I haven't been there in quite some time.
So yeah, we've got a full service bar, restaurant, lounge there.
That's fucking
simulator
awesome.
room. It's like the whole.
Oh, okay, well, next time I'm in the city, I got to come back. I called about having my wedding there. I just looked at it seriously. It ended up not happening, but they were very nice about it. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so that's it.
You double.
That's it. We have members having
the
weddings.
quote was not low. The quote, they said, "Here's the price," and I went, "Holy shit, really?"
You spoke to Jeanette.
I spoke to Jeanette.
She's a killer.
She's a heavy hitter though.
Yeah.
She's mistress of motors on Instagram.
That's why we like her.
Jeanette. She doesn't fuck around. No, she did not. She goes. I go, but it's me, Jeanette, and she goes, "That's the you price." She goes, "If it wasn't you, I would just say no." I was like, all right.
It's true.
Then, of course, I found out what everything else costs, and I went, oh, shit, Classic Car Club wasn't actually that bad.
It's crazy, right? New York City prices on
actually, actually.
Not that it's any different here.
No, but my sister got married in August at the Rainbow Room. And so, you know, it was beautiful, but in hindsight, Classic Car Club was not so bad compared to the Rainbow Room. Anyway, so you got the bar restaurant happening now.
Yeah, so it's a proper members club. It's a proper community. People don't have to join now just to drive the cars. We've got the clubhouse membership.
Oh, you have a house membership now?
Yep.
I figured that was coming.
Yeah. So and then
is the open bar gone? Is open bar out?
Free bar.
It was a lot of fun.
God, I miss the Wild West of open bar. But it's Martin the lawyer in the back. Like, you bet your fucking ass open bar's gone.
Shockingly, the behavior is even worse.
Worse?
In all the right ways.
When you have to pay for it, it's actually worse?
Yeah. Well, no, I just paid for this, so.
Well, it used to be, back when I was living in New York, it was the best place to go. The Canal Street shop was the best place to go when the bars closed.
Right.
It was the after hours.
Right. If you have the card, you can get in.
Yeah. Is that still a thing? Can you still go after hours?
No, but we're there until 1 in the morning.
Oh, that's before hours. Bars close at 4 in New York.
That's right.
That's early. That's late for a normal business, though.
Yeah. And we're there we're there early. We're like vampires.
Are you? Do you guys just fucking live there, pretty much?
We've been living there for the last 15 years. Yeah. That's what we do. Yeah.
So, all right. So, Phil, you start this thing in London. What were your first 5 cars?
Yeah, I didn't know this either. This is a good question. I want to know
this. We
had
Alfa Romeo GT Junior, 1968 Mark II Jaguar 3.8.
Sedan. Is that a Mark II?
Yeah,
it's a Mark II, right? It's a sedan. Saloon,
sedan.
you may call it.
We
Sorry.
call it a saloon. Then we had first Ferrari. I bought a 308 Dino GT4.
Jason Camisa was just in here and bought one of those for himself and was saying how lovely it is to drive.
Well, at the time,
cars,
they are good cars.
They're like the black sheep. That's why I like them.
A little delicate, but they're great to drive. Yeah.
We had that like blue one that had that like space disco dash on it.
Yeah, the guy that owned it lived across the street from Lime Rock, and he had set it up to do laps at Lime Rock. So it kind of racy suspension,
really,
headers and stuff.
I bet it sounded awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty raucous little car. It's cool.
A 308 with like a real a pipe on it is a pretty good sounding car.
Yeah,
actually.
totally.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So so you had the Alfa, the Jag, the Ferrari.
What do we get to? We had an E-Type. We also had an E-Type, Primrose yellow E-Type. We had a 57 MGA.
Oh, okay. So kind of, yeah, I probably would have guessed at least two of those if I just threw. If I would have guessed E-Type and 308 for sure.
Where did the Mura fit in? Was that in the fleet?
Fuck off.
Mura, yeah. This is a great story. I bought. No, this is. I've got some great stories, and this is one. We bought it in auction about. I think it was about spring 1997.
For how much?
I think we paid about 68,000. Wow. And it had a good. It was owned by. Justin de Villeneuve, who was a F1 driver, and Bernie Ecclestone was managing him at the time, and it had an interesting history. And it'd been burnt out, and it'd been rebuilt by Lamborghini, and we kept it for about. I think I sold it in about 99.
Wasn't it Twiggy's car too?
Yeah, Twiggy. It had a load of interest in, and on the our registration documents, a V5, so you saw all the names.
Many crimes in that car.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the amount of cocaine done in that car must have been.
And it was great. It was like a lime green color. It'd been rebuilt by Lamborghini after a fire.
Hi, Charlie.
Which was
we have a dog today.
Which was regular on it.
So it's probably crack if it burned down.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor was the third owner, and it fucking burned down.
So then I traded it.
Did that car work properly when you had it?
I drive. Oh, it was dreadful to drive. I
hear terrible things.
Yeah, it was like I don't know, all the ergonomics of sitting there. You were too close to the steering wheel. It was too wide. It was not comfortable car, and I'm 6'2", so that wasn't great. So we fast forward 2 years later, 2.5 years later, we traded it for a Lamborghini Diablo. Which was
at the time that probably seemed like a great come up.
Well, it was a great idea, apart from the fact that last year my Mura sold for £1.4 million.
The same one.
Yeah. So we made at the time we made like £12,000 or £14,000, which is in car. That's okay.
Most people be happy with that.
That's okay. Yeah. So maybe I'm.
You should have parked the fucking thing and just stared at it. A glass ball. Yeah,
but you know
who knows?
We should have done that to every car we've bought.
Yeah.
Every time. Ooh,
you guys have sold some cars. Didn't you have a Ford GT?
We've had two Ford GTs.
You've had two Ford GTs that you could have just parked.
New.
From new. Whoa.
Yeah.
We the first one we bought. I think we got drunk, didn't we?
Yeah. I was away. Whenever I go away, these guys go buy something big. So I was on my honeymoon, and they went and it was a rainy day in like October.
The guy who sold it to us actually did look like Richard Pryor.
Yeah, he was.
He was wearing an electric blue
we couldn't
suit.
buy that car. That was 164. We paid 164,000.
It had 3 prices on it.
Yeah,
and like we were looking at it.
They kept layering the stairs.
Well, like depending on what you looked at. And I remember it was the first day of daylight savings. Yeah. So that day it was going to get dark at 4, and it was sleeting out. Remember,
it was a bad day.
It's a good day to buy a Ford GT.
Yeah, well, the manager guy, like the sales guy.
No, you guys went in to buy. Well, first you went to buy.
We just went to go buy something.
You're going to buy a Range Rover. You wanted to buy a Range Rover.
No, we looked at Corvettes. We were looking at Z06s. We just wanted to be splashy.
But you weren't going in to buy it.
Zach controls the cash, so when Zach's not around, we go buy it. We make big moves.
There was not a better value in motoring though than a Ford GT at sticker price.
Yeah.
And totally undervalued from new.
It was one of my first big pit moves buying a car, because we went in there and the guy says, I was like, this is a very special car. We're like, yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
We get all that. And the Classic Car Club, it was new at this time. It didn't have any cachet or anything. And I said to the guy, he's like, well, this car trades for more than what it cost. I was like, well, it's here, right? And you want $165,000 for it. So here's my car.
No, he wasn't. He was. They're up to 200 on the stickers, weren't they?
Well, the sticker on the window was 165, and then they had like the
side sticker.
Yeah, that was like 212. It had 3
sticker.
different numbers, but I was like, listen, this is a $165,000 car. It was a 2005. I was like, it's sleeting out and it's dark at 4 o'clock now. So you could either sell it to me now and get it off your lot, or you could sell it to me at a discount when the 2006s come out. Here's my car. And he called back like an hour later. That was the coolest I've ever been. And I'm like, I just want this car. Okay, cool, I'll buy it. Or I send Zach in. Zach will slay you on a price of a car. But
and
that is.
I just like shiny stuff, man.
$100 grand more than that now.
Yeah.
I talked about a specific Ford GT I wanted to buy on this podcast. It was a Quicksilver no stripe, had like 1,100 miles on it or something. And I talked about it, and I specifically talked about a fucking fan heard the show and swiped it. Yeah, and then it sold.
Wow,
it sold later. It was like 169 grand. This was like 2011, and the fan took it to Barrett Jackson and sold it for $340,000.
Buzzing.
Wow. Fuck. Yeah, no.
You know what?
So
one of the
cares
best
about
driving cars.
That's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, no,
what a great car. You
best car.
know exactly how good of a driver you are in that thing.
Yeah, because if it's the least bit slick, it will fucking eat your face,
So
and you'll slam into a stationary object.
But it's a good car though. It only does what you tell it to. It's not like an early Dodge Viper. It's just trying to kill you all the time.
No, it's lovely.
It goes where you point it. It brakes well, turns well. But if you put your foot down, you ask for 550 horsepower, you're getting it. No matter what's happening.
And it's going to do it on really unhelpful Goodyear Eagle.
The stock tires were a horror show.
And that was the only tires you could get for a long time.
We put the Enzo size Bridgestones on it, and it was way better.
Can you get a Michelin on it now? Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
Probably.
So.
But yeah. So
PSA: Pirelli's making Countach tires again for all of you Countach owners out there.
All right.
Wow.
$1,900 for a full set. They're just making them.
It's actually
not
not bad.
limited edition. No, it's totally not bad.
Not bad at all.
It was less than the tires for my fucking Mustang.
What size tires you put on the back of yours?
345 55 15s. Wow. It is a hell of a size.
So small. Yeah.
It's like chode-like almost.
Yeah.
It's like wider than it is tall. It's very funny.
That's big. That's big, especially for the time too.
Yeah. What are some of the other cars that you sold and are now worth way more than?
I've got lots. 1965 Lotus Cortina, Alan Mann Lotus Cortina, which I bought at auction for probably about £12,000. Spent about 20,000 on it. Raced it, sold it. I think that'd probably be a 200 grand car now.
I just drove one of those last summer. It was nice.
Yeah, they're like,
I mean, it wasn't
100 horsepower.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy, but it was nice.
This was race prepared, so it was good.
You had a 73
RS Carrera, which, and I'm going to pass this one on to my brother, which was a mustard, left-hand drive car, mustard, totally original car. And he swapped it for 5 or 6 Warhol screen prints.
Okay.
And then a few years later, he's down in Australia.
Now wait, this one could actually go either way.
Yeah,
well, this is very valuable.
Which way do you think it went?
I think you got fucked.
Yeah, because about 5 or 6 years later, there was some art dealer in New York, and unless he signed them off as being an original numbered screen print.
Oh no!
So I think we got fucked on that.
Oh no!
And that would be a $400,000-$500,000 car now.
How about one where how about the other way? How about one where you guys made money on the car? Has that ever happened?
Ask us next year.
Well, I had a big one. I had a 993 turbo.
Get that mic a little closer, Phil. Sorry.
993 turbo, which I bought for £55,000, and I flipped it 5 weeks later for 75,000.
That's good.
It was just so. Yeah. But the thing is, you got to drive cars. If you're not, I get all these guys with huge collections. I mean, all our cars, the Ford GT, we drove it down to Miami. We drove it up.
The last one we sold was 66,000.
Yeah, I mean, if you
awesome.
Yeah, you're going to drive these cars. Isn't that what's the point? What's the point in like buying a car and 5 years later selling it with 1,000 miles in it? Well,
I don't get
enjoyment.
All those Ford GTs people bought new and left in the plastic and have
so
like
sad.
7 miles on them.
Fuck that.
You can't even start those cars. You start that car, it'll piss oil out of every single seal.
Yeah,
it'll just
terrible.
the gaskets will just turn to fucking mache. It's
I had a great car. I had a 73 Eurospec RS 911, and I sold it to the guy who offered me the least amount of money for it. Because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that sounds dumb.
But he everybody else wanted it for like their balance sheet. They wanted it for, they were like, I need to see all the engine casing. And I was just like, this car needs to be driven. It's so cool. Such a good car to drive. Such a great car to drive. And this one guy reached out to me and he said, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm going to nostalgically say it was. That he said, listen, I'm an American. I live in Dubai. I hate everything about living here, but I live really close to the track.
I understand that perspective.
And he said, I just want to drive that car on a racetrack. And he offered me $10,000 less than anybody else did. But I felt like, that's the guy who should have this car. You know.
Have you? Did you follow up? Was it?
It's been at Rennsport for the last 2 years.
Oh, really? Well, no. Yeah. It's going for auction for $500,000.
Right?
Yeah, that's it.
Zach's been keeping up on it more than I have because I kind of
it's actually a European performance over with Bob in Clifton, New Jersey. But he's
sorry, Bob.
Has the odometer moved since that?
No, well, but he's restored it beautifully. Like he
does
took
look good.
Motor and gearbox out and rebuilt it, redid the suspension. You know, everything's really nice in the car now. And he was being a bit of a perfectionist about it. Because it was
he's being a guy who generates invoices to fix cars.
Well, yeah, there you go. But it was one of Peter Gregg's cars, and they took the cold start stuff off the MFI fuel injection to make it racy.
Yeah.
But it makes it really hard to start the car, and he was trying to figure it out. And the guy finally came from Dubai and drove it. He's like, you know what? This is good enough. Just let me take it.
Yeah, man. It is easy to start.
Awesome.
You pump it halfway twice, turn the key, let it rip. That's it.
My 911, we put a light flywheel in, actually, and until the oil gets warm, you actually have to let it warm up. Otherwise, it is very unhappy idling. Yeah,
for sure.
We have learned this.
It was a car that like you needed to have a little bit of relationship with. Buy her dinner beforehand.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a Countach for you.
Probably,
Countach
same thing, yeah.
Countach has 16 quarts of oil. So before you fucking go anywhere, you got to let the thing idle for like 5 minutes to get everything moving.
Yeah, but those are the cars that make it all worth it, because you actually have to like earn the experience.
100%. Right. Yeah, and take my shoes off to get in it. I can't drive it with the pedals are too small.
This is the evolution of us, because we had this like cold, hard, fast rule, which was we're not going to have a Countach in a car club because they're notoriously unreliable and all that stuff. And now we're trying to find the right one for the club, which is, you know, as
an anniversary,
as reliable as they could be. But the reason is that, listen, we didn't make that damn thing. Call some guy in Italy if you got a problem with it. But like, that's the part of the experience of a Countach is breaking down in one, right?
Well, you're in New York. You know who you've got is Valentino. Valentino Balboni runs a fucking business now getting Countach parts.
In New York?
Yeah, in the East Coast, in Jersey.
I saw him in Italy.
Yeah. No, he's in America. I got his fucking phone number.
Oh, cool.
Oh, Matt, I can get you. He just got me N-links for my sway bar.
Where in New York is this business?
I don't fucking know. I got him on the phone.
Like, is it like in New York, or is he in like Westchester or some shit?
I don't think he's in Manhattan, but he's around.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he's around. Valentino's the fucking man. I can look it up. Yeah. He's got your Countach needs sorted.
Nice.
He's good.
Sounds a little dirty.
I'll tell you, it's a lovely car to drive. It really is.
Yeah, Zach's got some experience in one. Yeah.
Did you enjoy your driving?
Yeah, I did. You know, it actually, funny enough, it kind of reminded me of driving that 308 GT4 Ferrari. Like, it was of that era, and like, ergonomics were a little funny, but it was like nostalgic, made great sound, and you know, it wasn't, you know, like the poor visibility is legendary, but like you're not.
Yeah, I almost hit a Camry merging because I just couldn't see the fucking thing at all.
But you know, most of the time you're driving, you're looking out the front of the car, and it's great. You know,
front visibility is good, steering's good.
Yeah,
ride is really nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Actually, the front overhang is short and higher than you think, so speed bumps and stuff are really not of an issue.
I love that about Italian cars in that era. Like, you just don't see you're in this like glass terrarium. You don't see the front of the car at all. It's sort of like maybe like driving like a school bus in a way, right? Like the kind of
it just falls away and there's just nothing. Yeah.
Just you in the road, man.
So what are some of the most favorite club cars that you guys have had come through
over the years?
Stuff you either didn't want to let go of, or that was just so popular. Or
a car that never worked. I got one. A car that never worked. It was the first car in the fleet. '77 Aston Martin Vantage. Beautiful.
Oh yeah,
beautiful. So cool. Like the front looked like a Mustang. The back looked like very European. But, you know, we'd send it out with a member, and they'd come back like, oh, it was so great. And then we put it on the lift and take it apart, put it back together. So
I mean, we had it for 2.5 years, and it might have been on the road for like 8 months.
Really?
2.5 years. I mean,
I would love to have one of those things. They're so fucking pretty.
Well,
and they're so much money now.
Yeah.
They're crazy amounts of money.
We bought ours for 30.
No, 40. I think it was $42,000.
Wow.
Sold even the shittiest one now is 100.
Yeah. Morrissey used to drive it, man. That's a cool car.
Yeah.
That one?
Not that one.
Oh, okay.
Same thing. Same.
But they were. It's interesting because it's a 5-liter V8, you know, and kind of looks like a Mustang, but it totally had its own character. Like, it sounded like no other V8. They were really
Tadek Merrick designed engine.
Yeah.
I happen to know
That
that.
Lagonda engine in it.
Fucking Lagonda. Bo Bachman at Galpin Autosports has 2 Lagondas that he said I can have a go in if I want, and I'm like, I think I'll just look at it.
Yeah.
Perfect LS swap candidate.
That car is cool
swap,
though.
automatic gearbox and a Lagonda. Hell yeah.
It had the footrest in the passenger seat. It had like town horn, country horn. Rather than like a map light, it had like a gooseneck lamp. It's just fucking cool, man.
Cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I really like that car. It's pretty.
That's a car you wanna do the VIP treatment with the fucking tea trays and the curtains and the pillows and all that shit.
Wait a minute. I drove around. I think you were with me in that car. I drove around Princess Diana's brother in it.
That's right.
To a furniture launch. What the fuck was I doing? Yeah, it's real.
Was it
Rainmore and Flanagan or something?
Yes.
And he just wanted to stop up.
Wait. Wait. Yeah, I don't remember his name.
You would, Phil. I mean, you're up on
something of Wales.
Yeah, so it was Princess Di's brother, the one who did that.
Earl Spencer.
Earl Spencer.
Earl Spencer.
Yeah. So he made a furniture line because he needs more money, I guess. He made a furniture line that knocked off all the furniture in Buckingham Palace.
Seriously?
And
to sell an ABC carpet.
What?
Buckingham Palace or whoever
it wasn't Buckingham Palace. It was his own stately home because to get into it, they are more royal than the royal family. They are more pure blood.
The Spencers are
just completely why.
Yeah, and there was always that.
Yeah.
That's mainly why they bumped her off. But
really,
yeah. No, they're more allegedly.
I think we should get into these conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
I gotta say,
but their bloodline and the royals, because the royals have got a lot of Greek and German in them.
That's right.
If we're getting into it now,
that's right.
So it was actually on the Spencer family. It was their furniture.
Well, I remember him
for Raymore.
We drove him like all the way to Westchester. I don't know why. It was just like they were like, "Would you like to drive that guy?" And I was like, "Well, let's do this." And you know what? He was so into it. I remember he was a really likable guy, and he's like, "Wow, this car is cool." Because you'd imagine he's
Prince Charles has got one, right? Doesn't he have a Aston V8 convertible? I think.
Yeah. Really?
Or was it a DB6?
That
might have been a
dark
DB6
navy one, right? That was at the
that William drove in his wedding.
Yeah, that's how I know it.
remember that shit.
Yeah,
that's my I got my TMZ going right there for that one.
That's it.
I drove
better than the electric E-Type. I'm not about the electric E-Type.
I drove Debbie Harry to a party in a Ferrari on New Year's Eve too.
She looked good.
She was really cool, man. Debbie Harry's cool.
Debbie Harry, of course.
She's a car collector.
Really?
Yeah, she likes garbagey muscle cars.
Really?
Yeah.
How
I was gonna say, I thought you took her in our old Hawaiian blue pickup truck.
No, it was 4:30 in the snow, New Year's Eve, the white party.
Oh, right.
And we went to it together, driving a Ferrari around New York City in
Lovely.
the snow. We looked like idiots, but it was great fun.
Lady Gaga also likes garbage muscle cars.
She does.
Yeah. She buys interesting cars and has no garage at her place in Malibu. My friend takes care of her cars. She just leaves all these she drunk buys cars on eBay all the time. All the time.
Good girl.
Yeah, and then she just parks them outside her house, and she lives on the beach, so they literally get hit with fucking seawater.
Yeah.
She had this black El Camino she bought that was a steaming hunk of shit, but it was in the shop, and the whole car was pitted from the salt water. It was like just turning to dust in front of your eyes.
Lady Gaga don't care.
Fuck does she care? Buy it, drive it twice, and throw it in the garbage. Like a billionaire.
Disposable stuff.
The difference. What about you, Phil? What are some of your more memorable the Miuras? Probably.
I mean,
or the 73.
I mean, look, you guys have been through a lot of cars.
Yeah, it's been really privileged to drive all the like
400 cars.
Yeah, hundreds of great cars. We've driven a lot of great cars.
So give me some standouts.
Well,
Phil.
I think the big difference for me is when we started the business in 1995 and the amount of cars that were there. When we started, there weren't that many interesting new cars. Like there was a 911. They were doing about 4 or 5 models. There was. I mean, what's the interesting thing now is what has changed is what's available to buy either new or used.
Right.
Now, back then in London, you had your kind of what we used to call the hot hatches, so Peugeot 205 GTIs. You had the early M3 BMWs, you had Golf GTIs, and then you had the old stuff was interesting. If you fast forward now and you can go out and there's, some of the stuff I've really enjoyed. We launched, we had that Subaru STI. That was fun. Like everyone like, oh, what are you doing buying that? We had members who wouldn't get in, and we'd force them into the car. They come back with literally a smile on their face saying that was an experience.
We had a member for a really long time. His name's Lake, right?
Yeah.
And he used to like a tall Southern gentleman. He was like 6'4". He had this like great, shocking white hair. Like he's just really put together.
New York lawyer, but from South Carolina.
You know, like the package, and he always wanted to drive something stately. He wanted to like, just take out the Subaru. And he did, and I was walking like through Midtown, and I heard the like the sound of all of our cars, and this guy goes by flying by like boom, and he just had the biggest smile on his face because he's in fanboy Subaru. It was really funny.
Yeah. And that's it, because if we allowed the obvious cars just to be the fleet, you wouldn't get things like that. You wouldn't get the variety that we can bring in, and that's what the members have to trust. We put the fleet together and have done from day one.
You don't take requests, huh?
Yeah, no. Well, we'll listen. We'll listen to anyone, and if it's a good enough request, it could.
Do you find there are trends with your customers of what they're more drawn to drive and check out? Like, do they like the newer stuff, older stuff? Is it mixed?
It follows a pretty regular pattern where they join to drive a Porsche, a Ferrari, a Lamborghini, and it's amazing, especially in New York. They'll be in a Lamborghini for a weekend, and I've done that, and they'll move on, and then they start to use the interesting stuff in the fleet, and it's kind of they join for one reason, and then they can really get into using the interesting cars.
Yeah, and then there'll be waves too, like when we started, American muscle cars were like really blown up in the US, and then they've kind of waned off. We've had 2 first-gen NSXs, and the first one we had, we kind of struggled to get people into it. They weren't as we knew it was a great car, but we had to educate them on it, and then we sold it eventually. And then now we got one back because the demand was so high and everyone wants to drive it, So it's just generationally people filter in.
Plastic and Japanese.
And NSX is a good New York sports car to deal with.
That's one of my favorite cars in the fleet. All time favorite.
Not a pain in the ass.
91 NSX. This is really good.
It's a 91?
Well, we have that. We have the new one. And the new one's pretty good, too.
I am a huge fan of the new one. A lot of people are not into it.
I'm into it.
I achieved a time down my favorite road that was previously unfathomable. Magic steering. Magic.
That is a really well put together sports car.
And the other thing is, I actually think they have nailed it to deliver a car that is in modern times what the original one was then. Sure, it can't be analog anymore. It can't have manual gearbox because it has to compete with all this other stuff. But all the technology that's there, you kind of get the full mechanical experience of it.
The Lotus Evora 400 is the new old NSX.
There you go.
Do you guys have you got one of those yet?
No.
Those
that's next on my list.
The shit.
Well, I'm a conscientious
They're fucking
objector.
Amazing.
Likewise. It's 2 versus 1.
I've been digging my heels in so hard. I don't even know why I don't like it.
Have you ever driven one?
No.
You gotta
They're
drive
amazing.
one. I got one for a month as a press car, and I did 5 track days. I beat the fucking balls off this car. I even crashed it a little bit. Yeah. And it was so good.
Do you have experience in like an XC
That car, you're not going to believe me. It is made really well. Like the way it's constructed, it's a really well made car.
I've been to the Lotus factory up in Norfolk, and honestly, it's like 2 sheds, and they're pushing it. There's no. This is a few years ago, and they've also got their own test track there, which is small, and in terms of it's not very wide. And I spent some time up there, and I can see how they can produce. But they are literally handmade cars. I don't know if it's improved.
I ran a 143 at Laguna. I ran a strong time in Laguna Seca in that car. Like it's a beautiful car.
You know what that car was to me? It was kind of like a baby Ford GT with like compliant suspension. You have that.
Wow, that's a strong
seriously.
Words.
Supercharged,
not buying it.
V6.
Adam raves about it.
Awesome.
Adam Miller
it is
raves about it.
So great. So great. I did.
Keep working because I've been trying to convince these guys for like a year.
I think I did like 1,800 miles on them.
I think you know what I can't get past. It looks like a piece of fucking Tupperware. That car is just ugly to look at.
For me,
it looks like a piece of plastic. And you know what? Why does it have 2 seats in the back? Why?
It's optional. You can get rid of it.
I got 2 little kids in the shove back.
Oh, every car's got to fit kids.
The one I drove had a shelf in the back, and it fit.
Your dog will go back there
my
too much.
My camera cases and stuff. It was great. I fit a ton of stuff in the back.
Have you driven an XC, Jess? Have you had any?
Not the new one. The old one. The last one that was sold in the States. Yeah, not the new one. The new one looks rad though.
How does in your experience the Evora compare?
Oh my god, it's such a better car. It's a much better car. The Exige S is a go-kart with a fucking missile in the back of it.
Yeah. Isn't that the best thing ever?
It will send you to the hospital. The Evora
Yes.
4S you could daily drive. It's much more like a modernized old NSX.
But that's what's kind of not interesting to me, I think.
Dude, the balance is so nice. It's fast. It sounds really good. It's got titanium exhaust.
If I'm going to get something to drive every day, it's not going to be a Lotus.
But you could drive it every day. I drove.
Yeah, you can. I could drive under a Accord every day too. I don't do that.
No, but it's
dude, I also fucking ran down GT3s at the racetrack with it. Like, it's fast.
How much was that thing?
So the sticker on it was like 97, but I literally got a text message from the PR guy like 2 days ago. There's 17 grand on the hood right now if you want to buy one.
So it's a very interesting buy for that kind of money.
17 grand on the hood. I have to be honest with you. I don't even know what that means. What does
discount?
that mean?
17,000 off. If you
want to buy a brand new one for $80,000.
You know why? Because nobody wants one.
That's probably true.
Because people don't know. They don't trust them.
But that
and they
doesn't
don't know
mean nobody should have one.
That's true. That's true.
And also
I'm going to say, just because you're running down GT3s,
so that's a problem. You can't just like lease one through Lotus Financial because there is no Lotus Financial.
Right.
So it's easier to just make payments on a Porsche or something. But I am an evangelist about the fucking 400. It rules. It's fast. It sounds great. It's comfortable. It worked properly.
We gotta go drive one next week.
You have to go drive one. I'll call the fucking guy. You want to drive one while you're in town?
Sure.
So we can set that up.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's two dealers, Galpin and Eurocar down in Orange County.
It has 4 seats, so we could all go together.
That's good. You have a viral video
experience together.
I think it's one of those things where you'd have to explain to the members what it is and why it's cool, and then they would go out for a drive and come back and go, holy.
You're gonna have to explain it to me because, like,
it's just a great driving car. Like, you have to drink your own Kool-Aid and stop like.
If you like a first-gen NSX, you would like this.
My Kool-Aid's 90 proof.
You'd 100% like this if you like an old NSX. There's no way you couldn't.
I'll give it. I just.
Everyone says they're great.
Yeah, I know.
And I drove one for I drove one for a month. I didn't see another one.
It doesn't look. I don't like the look.
It doesn't look great, but it's not ugly.
Covetable.
The 400 at least finally like has some. Well, I mean, it's all bolted on stuff, but it has a bit more aggressive looks to it.
They changed the front bumper. They changed the rear spoiler. You can get the 410, which is a little more aggressive and everything, and carbony and whatever. They fucking rule, dude. I'll say to the treetops.
I always
rule.
I always forget the name of it. Well, the electric pickup truck that's out now. What's that thing?
Rivian.
Rivian.
Is that are they gonna make it? Are they gonna make that thing?
I don't know.
I think these guys, the startup car companies, they're just.
I think it's tough.
It's very difficult.
Can we talk about electric cars for a minute? Because I love electric cars.
Yeah, me too.
Love drive. I think they're the most fun thing to drive.
In traffic, in the city, they're lovely.
I think they're right up there. I think like an electric car, like I've been talking about this a lot, but like I get an electric car, I turn the regenerative braking all the way up.
Yeah,
usually they have it, and then I put it on sport mode. Yeah, you don't need to, and like you get so much balance out of it, and you could. I think you could really rip an electric cars. I think they're great fun. So people need to drive more of those and not Lotus Evoras.
Well.
Electric,
drive both.
Yeah.
Well, the point of Classic Car Club is we have both.
Yeah.
Don't you guys have a Tesla? Don't you? You must.
We
right?
did.
We did.
We got
crushed.
Crushed by a drunk driver.
Oh, really?
A guy in the alley.
Was the driver passenger okay?
Yeah.
Really strong cars.
Yeah,
they're really strong.
Yeah, that car took a good beating.
No, he was. Our driver was in the HOV lane on the LE, and a drunk driver came at like 95 miles an hour from behind.
No way.
And smashed him so hard that he spun him into the barrier.
He gave him that cop
Two
bump.
wheels came off the car.
That's what happened to Tom Morningstar, basically, right?
Yeah.
You got smashed by just a guy driving nuts. Yeah.
And the guy, the driver of the other car, tried to get back in his car and drive away, and it wouldn't drive away.
He had like half a car.
Yeah, when it wouldn't drive away, he ran out in the woods, and the police had to go looking for him.
No
for like
way!
an hour.
Like they couldn't find him from his car.
Can I tell a 60-second story that's very similar? I'm standing, I'm driving to Lake Arrowhead, and I'm standing on this turnout, just looking at the city with this chick, and we just hear this truck coming up the road. I'm like, that guy's going too fast, because we're on a big sweeping left, and we turn around. We're a safe distance from the road, and he just understeers into a rock wall,
like an 18-wheeler truck.
No, like a Silverado, like a 1500.
Cool.
He jumps
Best
the
thing
wall,
ever made.
and he lands between a tree and the wall, and his truck's just hanging in the air. And the truck turns off, and he opens the door and he looks around and he sees like there's only 2 people there, and he closes the door and he turns the truck back on and he floors it because he's trying to get off. The wheels are in the air.
Yeah.
So he walks around for a while. Well, you know, we're trying to calm him down, so we call 911, blah, blah, blah. And as he hears the cops approaching, he just walks toward the wall and just jumps off of it to hopefully escape the cops, and he lands in a different tree. And so the cops show up and the firemen show up and they're looking at him, they got a light, they're like, "Sir, can you just stop moving, sir?" And I don't see what's happening, but the sheriff's like, "Sir, stop moving. We're here. Sir, you got to stop." And then you hear like, and he tries to jump again and then lands and he just goes, "Oh!" And like now he's injured, and the cop just goes, and they gotta go. Like, they gotta get the harness and rescue the guy.
Double whammy.
The guy he fucked up a couple times.
That's my daily driver, although I've never put it into a tree.
Silverado?
Good truck.
Nothing wrong with the Silverado.
Right, yeah, but back to it. He's desperate for it to be electric.
I'm desperate for it to be electric.
Dude, in
that's a good
LA,
idea.
it makes a lot of sense. Every time I've driven, I had a Volt for a while, and I think the Volt was one of the greatest cars ever made. And it's sad they're not making anymore. And if there's any of them left on dealer lots, everyone should go buy them because they're the best daily driver ever. But every time I drive a Tesla, when I get to my destination, I'm a little calmer. A little more. It's like because there's no vibrations or harshness.
Yeah.
And because I'm driving on one pedal and everything is so smooth, there's no gear changes, no jerk. Like I just find myself a little calmer when I get places.
But it's also, it does change the way like the performance changes the way you drive. I mean, you can be like kind of in moving with rolling traffic on the highway, see a gap that you want to go into, and you just
point and shoot,
go in there. You know,
like
it's
Senna.
not
if
like,
you see a gap that exists,
you're no longer racing if you don't go.
In a combustion engine car, you put your foot down, downshifts like 3 gears, and it takes off, and then you kind of manage that getting through. It's just like, all right, I'm going to go there. Boom,
now,
there.
I can't tell you the number of times people in Teslas have done that in front of me. I'm approaching. If I'm following a car and I see someone at my front 3/4 in a Tesla, I go, watch this fucking guy. His license plate's like "fuck you, gas" or something. You know what I mean? Like, the land of obnoxious. Tesla owners have the worst license plates.
That's like that South Park. It's like smug.
Yeah, that's smug. Well, I love that fucking
good
episode. That's so good. That's fantastic.
Hey man, so like, where do car people in LA? Where do they all hang out?
Where do we hang out?
Yeah,
we hang out in Malibu on Sundays. I mean, it just half of it just burned.
Yeah.
So some of our roads are a little fucked. The Snake is closed still, but on Sundays we hang out at we call it Bill's, but it's actually called Malibu Kitchen. That's where like me and my friends go hang out and eat sandwiches and make fun of people and bring our cars out. There's a bunch of like cars and coffee type events out here.
Where would you put a classic car club in LA?
So, it depends on who your target member is. The thing about LA is you don't ever want to have to drive across the city. So
I've done it 4 times today,
and don't you feel horrible afterwards?
No, I feel all right.
No, I think we're going. It's all.
If I was in a Lotus with these 4 guys, it would suck. But
I don't know. I think.
Shout out to Cadillac.
I mean,
by the way,
I would
for
put
giving
it on the west side if I had to choose, just because if someone's coming from the airport, they can go to it. But
we're not like a tourist thing.
We're
here for the people. We're here for the locals, not for the
tourists.
tourists.
I know. Well, the west side is closer to the good road. You can jump on Highway 1 and then go to like the good mountains or something like that. Versus if you're in like Hollywood or I don't know, downtown, just don't do that.
I think you're more likely to find the clientele that I suspect you are looking for on the west side.
I think if we build it, they'll come. Yeah, that's what I think.
That's true. That's true.
Could be.
I think we just got to find the right building.
Could be. For me, it's important to be where my building is because if I am holding your cars, I don't want to be more than 10 minutes from your house.
Right.
Yeah,
but like,
but
I think if we did
people
it
don't leave their neighborhood
Koreatown, will they come? What's that?
People don't leave their neighborhood here.
Really?
So if you're too far away.
Yeah,
it's a real thing. I know it's hard. Like I'm much more likely to drive from Westchester into Manhattan than I am to drive from Venice to Silver Lake or something. Seriously, way more likely. So I think West Side is a great place to be, but the land's expensive. So you said Santa Monica, like everyone loves Santa Monica.
Yeah.
The eastern side of Santa Monica, where it becomes West LA, is a wonderful place to be for something like that.
I just want to do it in the opposite place of all those places you said, just because I'm
to be contrarian
because
asshole. You hate Lotus Cortina.
Being contrarian and opening a customer service business really go hand in hand in this town.
I don't like it to be easy. I don't like it to be easy.
And I think if people are going to take the cars to go to canyons, you don't want to make them drive all the way across the city.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point.
That's, you know, we like in LA, like there's no such thing as back roads. Like you've got your shitty grid, you've got your clogged highway, and then you've got your aggressive canyon driving. And these are all different situations that require different cars.
It is a lot like New York in that way, though, right?
Yeah, it's
like
we're Manhattan.
You know, we're on the West Side Highway at Pier 76, so we have one of the reasons we're there, other than having a huge terrace on the Hudson River and just beautiful,
gangster
awesome.
AF.
Awesome.
By the way,
It's killer.
Timmy, get a picture of the Classic Car Club's terrace view.
Is it on the website?
Is it on their website somewhere?
Go to Pier 76 on that menu, I think.
Okay. Anyway, one of the other reason, right, because it'd be on the West Side Highway is because there's a quick escape from the city.
Yeah, you don't have to sort of claw your way out of Midtown, right?
And a pretty decent escape at that. West Side Highway, as far as New York roads go, it's not so bad.
Not bad.
At least you're on the fucking. If you're on the FDR, but you'd be replacing shocks every 6 months.
There's that section like in the '60s where the waves start happening, where you can catch air.
Worst.
You can catch air.
The worst.
Yeah, but there's a whole list of reasons to come to the club, and it's not just a driving club. It's they've got the social aspect, we've got the events, we've got a race team. There's so many. We've got the sim room. There's a lot of reasons just other than just picking up a car. That's
totally understandable.
One aspect of it, and the idea is that people, our community, our little breed of members come and use it for a variety of things.
West Side doesn't preclude any of those things.
Right.
None of all those things would be fine.
I would say the ones that do preclude that, though, is if you're closer to Hollywood. LA has like across you got the 10 and the 405, and then like way on the east side running up along downtown you have the 110 and the 5 and everything. Between that, to get from Highway 10 up to West Hollywood or Hollywood or any of those things is just grid. Like there's no fast thoroughfare. So to have people go in there to go to an event, it sucks. Whereas if they're going to Santa Monica or anywhere west of the 405, it's a shorter drive on surface streets.
This is true.
It's a lot better that way.
Sorry, folks, we're going a little inside baseball today. Little LA navigation for you guys. Yeah.
What's your corporate insurance plan? Let's discuss.
What about Calabasas or something like that? Just the other side of the canyon.
Sounds expensive.
It is. Well, it's not as expensive as you think, but it's fully the suburbs. Right.
Sounds
it'd be like being in Greenwich.
Right.
Yeah.
Sounds like a spa ranch.
Pretty much. It's where the Kardashians live.
Yeah, that's what I was.
That's pretty, and it's half of it burned down a month ago.
Sounds maybe cheap now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think being near a freeway would be very beneficial to you, and if you're in Hollywood, you're not.
We were just hanging with our good friend and yours, Magnus Walker.
The man.
And
was on the show 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he always says, just be by highway.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. He's kind of convenient in his downtown area because he's right next to where you can get to the canyons really fast from his shop.
The East Canyons, though, like Angeles Crest.
Yeah, the Angeles Forest. The Angeles Forest is a spectacular resource for us car people.
Yeah, that's
what he was saying too. He said if we were located somewhere there, I mean, he could put together driving routes from 50 miles to 500 miles within the park.
The other thing is we're city kids from New York and London, so we like, we come to a beach town and then go hang out where there's like, concrete skyscrapers. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel comfortable there,
Your downtown works for you guys, right?
The beach works too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Here's one thing to consider, and then I'm going to end the inside baseball discussion because our fucking fans are going to tune out for this bullshit. But Santa Monica, Beverly Hills, and West Hollywood are not part of Los Angeles. Yeah. They have their own utilities. They have their own police. They have their own fire. You may want to consider that, as opposed to dealing with LAPD and LA utilities. So that there's a big benefit. Also,
very responsible.
I'm in the fucking construction business now. I know this bullshit.
Yeah.
Also, they just legalized marijuana consumption lounges in West Hollywood. So you may want to consider that. Meaning you can, not just a dispensary, you can actually blaze there, like in Amsterdam.
We've already taken on booze in cars, so why not?
Yeah.
I think ganja in cars is probably safer than booze in cars. Back to the actual fucking cars. What is a car, other than that Aston Martin V8, that just was beautiful, you liked having in the club, but turned out to be a steaming hunk of shit?
Every E-Type Jag ever owned. No, they're all shit. They're all shit. They're beautiful. So good. And when they work, they're great. All of it. But, however, they deteriorate kind of quickly.
Yeah.
Right.
When used frequently, you mean they fall apart?
I don't think when used free. I just think they just.
Well, I've got a controversial one, but I had to like recoil because the first thing I said you liked it, and like I hate the car so much.
Maybe
now
you
that-
don't have to like it. I don't
But,
care.
but,
Throw
but
it
I
out
did
there.
like initially. We've had 3 Ferrari 355s, and literally like 2 of them went down in ball of flames.
Really?
There's awful cars, and like
Whoa.
all
It's too bad. I
your
like driving
comments
someone
are,
else's for 10 minutes.
Your
They sound-
comments are going to go crazy now. Everyone's just going to slay us. And the last one we got on the same truck as our first 91 NSX, and I drove them back to back, and I was like, NSX is such a better car.
Yeah, I think it probably is. Yeah,
But
steering's not great. In
I don't think that the
355 either.
355 is so bad to. I think actually to be a good driver because the power comes on like a 2-stroke motorcycle, like bang, and that's it, and it's spin you around if you were in control of it.
And I will say, having said that, like
Stop banging the table, Zach.
Sorry, two of our members.
What's he like?
Yeah, you can't take me anywhere. But two of our members recently got them, and I got like nostalgic for it again.
Well,
like,
you can't have a
because they do sound great.
You can't
and
have a
they look
Spider
great.
because
They
that
look
doesn't
good.
work, and you can't have the F1
can't have
gearbox.
F1.
That was the first
Yeah.
year they made it. Highly
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah.
It was something like
That
$20,000
transmission
to replace it.
is such a hunk of shit.
Right?
Yeah.
It is unusable.
But a manual one, I think would be maybe
so
good for the individual.
The last
right?
one we went through that. So like no Spider, no F1. We did that on 2 of them. One of them got crashed and burnt up.
Well,
and then that was
not the car's fault.
Yeah, driver's fault. And then we're like, all right, we had a manual GTS, so it was like best of both worlds.
Yeah,
Coupe,
I'm a fan of that. It's
you know,
the Targa
whatever.
roof.
Yeah,
Big fan of that.
Guy had spent, the previous owner had left it with like an open checkbook, a Win Ferrari, spent $40,000 on the prior service, and the car was perfect.
And
someone spun it and put it into a wall.
I think you got to be.
After like 2 months owning it.
It's a little bit like a Ford GT. You got to kind of know what you're doing behind the wheel of that thing.
Yeah,
And-
if you
and-
push
and-
one, it's got no safety stuff in it, so you're fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other
Ariel
one? What
Atom.
about you? What about you, Phil? Anything
Ariel
that
Atom.
was just Ariel Atom? They seem like a good idea for 5 minutes.
They're fun, man. Just on the racetrack, made for the racetrack.
He had a long go in Zach had a
Nomad.
long go
You're
in
like
the Nomad for
700
driving on
miles in
BC
one.
Sport.
Oh, Zach had a
I
good run in a Nomad.
It was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, and then you're like, "What's this for?" It's, like, it's just for having fun. It's great for that.
The time, so the Ariel Atom, we still have it actually. We just use it on the tracks. We have 300 horsepower. It was a K20A.
Supercharged. Yeah, K20.
Yeah.
Right, K20A.
Yeah.
And it has rear wheel steering mechanically, so the rear of the
Really?
car.
Did they always have that?
Yeah,
it's the geometry of the control arms. If you look, there's 3 mounting points on the bottom. So when the car rolls, it shifts the wheels.
The weight shifting of the car steers the rear wheels.
Yeah, basically kind of bends
You
it,
know,
right?
that's so funny. When I tested one, I didn't know about that. When I tested one, I drove it and I went, you know, I swear to God, I can feel the chassis flexing in this thing. But I actually think I was feeling the
right.
nice mechanical rear steer.
What happens is you go into a corner and you get it to really load up, and it will steer the rear end with you and make the car turn more. But if you think you're slipping and try to catch it, then you totally lose it.
That was the first 2 years of my life with that car. I always thought the rear was about to come on, and I'd get off of it, and it would all get uncomfortable.
And then it would get snappy and weird.
And then Zach did the research and figured out that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
And then it
you-
was-
I
you-
don't,
Yeah,
why
you
don't
have
they
to drive
market
through
that?
it.
They don't market that at all.
They don't really market anything, do they?
I've never heard a single person mention that before, ever, about that car.
Okay.
Not once.
We bored the shit out of everybody with our real estate quandaries.
now
But
you
boom,
drop, now
look
you
at that.
just
Now
drop a fucking bomb.
knowledge.
Very exciting to drive.
Phil, what car would you
yeah,
like
man.
to see burned to the ground and will never allow in your fleet again?
We've currently got a Dodge Charger, which is a bit.
Yeah, actually,
That's a bit challenging.
What, in
at
the
moment.
UK?
That
No,
might-
no, in the US.
What's
Well,
wrong with the Dodge
it's-
Charger? It's a
Hold-
Hellcat, I
hold
imagine,
on,
right?
yeah.
No.
This is a 68.
Oh, that same fucking old one you guys have
Yeah.
had forever?
It's
Didn't you-
really pretty.
Didn't
It's
you
really
get
pretty to
trade
look
some
at.
guy a membership for it or
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
to look at, but it's just such a bore.
I remember when you
Yeah.
bought that thing, you were like, I was like, oh, that thing looks cool. And you're like, it's such a shit box.
No, it's just we always struggle with the Mopar engines, and that one's been rebuilt. And I actually just got a text today. It's low in compression again, bent valves.
Really?
Yep.
Can you just LS it? Call it.
Well,
it a day?
the last time I was gonna put a Gen 3 Hemi in it, but everything with Mopar is also so much more expensive. Like you could do an LS swap in a Chevelle for like $5,000 on a
Yeah.
budget, but like just the parts to get a Gen 3 Hemi into a Charger is like 20 grand.
Really? Ugh, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
They're not very good at supporting the aftermarket. Their ECUs are really hard to tune. Like it's just buttoned up and locked down.
It's just
They're
everything's
really
more
bad at it.
difficult. The old stuff's more difficult. Firing orders backwards from what all the other American stuff. Everything's just weird. So it makes it a lot. Like you think, American muscle should be easy.
Bang the table, Zach.
Should be easy.
Most every Mustang we've
Fucking
had.
tie your hands together.
They're not for me.
Really? What?
Not for me.
What? No muscle cars?
No, not muscle cars, just Mustangs.
What
Oh,
years?
no Mustang.
We have a Shelby GT350. That's quite a good car.
Is it an
Oh,
R
yeah,
or
but
a regular one?
You gotta back that up. Your favorite car in the world, you said at one point, is a Shelby 1000.
No, I was gonna say that is the other
Shelby
good one.
1000.
Shelby 1000 was a
The
great
wide
car.
body thing?
No, you get a. So the way it worked was you would buy a GT500.
Yeah.
which is terrible.
Yeah, what year?
This was a 2012.
Oh yeah, no
Like
bueno.
all this power, you can't
Yeah,
put it down. You
no
just
bueno.
spin.
265 tires? We had one of those. The tires were really narrow.
Tires
Yeah.
are really small.
And then you put $150,000 in a glove box, and 6 months later you get a Shelby 1000, which is a badass.
You guys
car.
didn't have that built, did you? You didn't spend $165,000 plus a GT500 on that. You bought it used from someone for 85 grand, right?
No. We built one. This was other people's Mustangs. That's
Oh,
the way it is.
yeah.
OPMs. So
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
best way to have one, right? But that was a really good car. I drove it on the track. I did a lot with that car. It would go around corners. I couldn't believe it. You could drive that car on a racetrack and it would go around a corner.
What did they do with the suspension? Things?
Everything, like everything. And there's nothing left that was like made by just Ford in that car.
I like the audacity of a car like that. I mean, I think it's dumb. I wouldn't spend $240,000 on one like that.
Well, we know those chassis can be set up
if you
well.
go back, the black one may actually be it.
I had built it.
That one.
That one?
Yeah, that's one.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one that we built. We took off the spoiler because it didn't do anything.
Yeah.
We
No.
took out the back seats
That
because
looks
why?
good.
It looks
Yeah,
mean.
It's badass,
I'll give it
man.
to you. It
It's
looks
good.
mean. Yeah.
I went to a car show. I had it shipped to Detroit, so Troy.
Yeah.
And then and it was in the middle of the winter. I'm driving this thing in the snow and everything, and I got to like the MGM. It was for the what was the gala that they do the day before the auto show. So it's all like it's like the 918 Spider was there, all these cars, and then this one, and it was all these manufacturers, just me and that. So first I drive it, and like you could only go in with a quarter tank of gas.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, that thing has no gas tank. It looks like an 8-gallon gas tank that they had back then. So I was like, man, I'll just drive it around the block and wear some of it out. And then I was at the red light. I thought, well, let me just put it in 5th gear and put my foot down to see what happens. And the car didn't go anywhere. The gauge just went boom. And I was only at the corner, so I got it into, and I had to push it in the spot because I went through a quarter tank of gas. And then you have all these manufacturers like setting up their cars, and I had like the fake silver like bucket they give you for a bottle of champagne at the hotel.
Yeah.
And like water from the sink, and I was there for like 3 hours cleaning this thing because I drove it 60 miles in the snow. Yeah, I'm around like Lamborghini and everything, but I had a really good time with that car.
Good on you for driving that car in the snow.
Heck yeah, man.
I liked it. They just told me when I did the new ZR1 press launch, they put 100,000 winter miles on the new ZR1s in the snow. There's a snow tire fitment for them from whoever. Not a single test driver got stuck.
We sold our Z06 Corvette.
God.
That's a car I wish we still had. People really didn't gravitate towards it. I love that car.
I thought it was a great car.
That was a
great car.
The
Killer.
the
C7.
supercharged ones. Yeah. For a street car, they're
Awesome.
rowdy.
Zach actually put it really well. That is the one of the few cars, that's probably the only one I could think of, where you could go to like a supercar gathering, it fits in.
Yeah.
You go to a rifle range, it fits in. You go to a monster truck jam, that thing fits in.
Track rally.
It's awesome. Yeah, it can fit there too.
But also Corvette. I mean, particularly I like cars which have been raced in a GT series because you do get that. All the improvements, technology, it does make it into the road car. People don't believe. I mean, everything from ABS brakes, that was all developed through traction control. All came through race programs, and that's why the really good cars like the Corvette and the 911 Porsches, and there's some great cars. The new GT Ford, I haven't driven, but I assume they've been very successful at.
The new one is a race car.
It looks fantastic.
Is a race car.
As well.
It's not as good of a road car.
They allowed
as
it
the
to
last
race before they sold it on the road, didn't they?
They did.
They homologated it. They got Ford.
They had sold one.
Yeah, they pulled the Lancia and they fucking moved them from this side of the building to the other side at lunch.
But I do believe that whole race program. Any manufacturer who gets involved in racing, it does make it into the road cars, and you do benefit from it.
Yeah, the new ZR1 is amazing because it is just a psycho death machine missile, with this huge GT wing on it and all this crazy.
Yeah.
But then, like, it's also just a Corvette. Like you drive, there's nothing about it that isn't also just a Corvette.
Well, that's why there's such good cars.
That.
That's probably why when you guys can explain, like your customers weren't as drawn to it because it looks close enough to a regular Corvette. I don't know. For me, like I see them so much that if I walked in the showroom and I was like, "What am I going to pick to drive?" This is just too familiar. It's not special.
The guy that was doing the bookings at the time swore people didn't book it because it was yellow, and we were like, "Give us a break, man."
I just think he didn't like it.
That's a Le Mans winning color. Yeah, and I think we had the wrong guy doing the bookings, and he wasn't selling it well.
I could see how a possible yellow Corvette could be less popular than if it was gray or black or something like that.
I mean, it was pretty outlandish, but you're driving a 7 or
a yellow Corvette is definitely like a Tampa, Florida retiree.
It's a Corvette. It's exactly what it's supposed to be, though, right?
I also don't think Corvettes in New York are as popular as they are in other parts of the country.
You don't see them here you see them everywhere. They're everywhere except for New York. You don't see them there.
You got to go out to Long Island to Ocean Parkway.
Yeah.
Then you start seeing those.
It's my home turf right there.
Exactly.
Ocean Parkway, I know. Gets a little sandy. You got to watch out.
So now, what about now? So we've got, some pretty cool shit coming up on importability. Are you guys getting in your import game on?
This is my favorite genre.
We've Lancia Delta Negrale.
I saw that in Negrale. It rules. Does it work properly?
It works like it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I mean, after we rebuild the engine, but and then it still has some engine management stuff we can't track down. It's just Italian.
But
it runs great. Cold startup's a little rough, but whatever.
Can you put snow tires on it and take it to Monticello in the snow?
We've already done that.
Yeah,
we do that. Yeah, autocross that.
We take it to Lime Rock. Lime Rock does a snow autocross
up on the Figure 8 track.
Yeah, Greenfield.
That track has it's on the hill, so you come up on it's all very tight. You're not you're not going so fast because it's tight, and you get up on that hill and you better have the wheels straight right there.
One of my best driving experiences ever was first generation Ford GT on that autocross, and it was when they first started the Lime Rock Club, and the guy that was running it was like trying to get us to come down the big track. I'm like, no way, man, I'm having the best time here. Just put it in second gear, and you could just there's one right-hander. It's like a hairpin, and it starts going uphill, and you could just stand on its nose and let the back end come out and straighten the wheel out and just squeezing the gas.
It's a little slide. It's very
amazing.
Lovely.
So much fun.
For those of you with us live, get your super chat questions in now. We're going to get to them in 5 minutes. Have you guys gotten in the Skyline game yet?
No, we haven't, but we should.
I'm big on it.
Driven one.
Have you ever driven a Skyline?
No.
R32?
No, I haven't.
I strongly recommend you get one. They are so good to drive. You can't fucking believe how nice they are.
And I want right-hand drive ones.
Yeah, well, they're all right-hand drive.
Well, right. But in New York, that's generally a bad idea.
Mildly annoying,
whatever.
But it's not that bad.
I love that stuff.
Dude, that engine is really fucking good.
Yeah.
I'm also really into
32 though, not a 33, or what do you think?
I think a 32 would prove more popular with your members.
Yeah.
And I think they are lighter than the 33s. The 34 is the ultimate, but they're really expensive, not legal yet. But the 32 is 80% of the driving experience of a 34. Yeah. You just don't have sixth gear, and you don't have a couple other little things. You have a little less power. Yeah. But
lighter's more interesting.
They ride well. They're practical. Get one where the air conditioning works, because the air conditioning's a bitch to fix on those, because it doesn't share parts with the US car. It's a different system. So as long as the air conditioning works, and as long as it's not been modified with cheapy parts, if the modifications are quality parts like HKS and stuff you've heard of, it's generally all right. I know the expert out here, Sean Morris, who's the Skyline Whisperer, but get one. They rule. They're so fun to drive.
Huh.
Have you had a go in one?
I've
Phil?
had a go in one in the UK, and I've never even seen one over here.
Oh yeah,
no, they were over.
They're starting. They're coming.
But the numbers have gone. They've gone super expensive, haven't they?
They're a little pricey.
Yeah.
Well, 34s are crazy. You can get a great one for under $40,000.
Yeah.
Not by your guys' standards. They're not crazy expensive.
Yeah,
are they 20? They're 25 years old. So
they are.
So we can start looking at stuff like the 205.
All of those all those rally inspired cars that we never had, little hot hatches that we never had, Fords that we never had, like Cosworth,
Sierra Cosworth.
Yeah, man, those are things I'm really into.
Anything from 1993 or older, you're good. We were just at Radwood, the 80s, 90s car show. It's a fucking big deal out here. It was huge, and a bunch of European imports as well as the Japanese stuff. Yeah,
Sierra Cosworth. So.
I'm really that for me, like that's where all my focus is, because those are the cars that were like cool when I was a kid, but I didn't really know about because we didn't have them. They were, all those like rally inspired cars, little lightweight hatches that don't have a lot of power, but they don't weigh a lot, and they're just real driver cars.
But the Peugeots and stuff, you can get that stuff now.
I have this like artificial fake nostalgia for it because. I didn't really know about them when I was a kid.
Grass is greener, bro. Yeah. And you can get like weird K cars. Like you can get a fucking Suzuki Cappuccino for like $5,000.
Yeah.
And it will be. Have you ever driven one of those things? They're rad. They're so fun.
It's like flooding Bring a Trailer these days. That's all
or like a Honda Beat or auto. You know, you can get a great
They're
AutoZam
so weird
for
and
16
quirky.
grand.
I'm all about the AutoZams.
I drove an AZ1.
Weird.
It was so fun.
Really weird.
And it's like this little 3-cylinder, but you could put a bigger turbo on it, and you can make like 90 horsepower.
Cool. Did you ever drive an Alfa Romeo SZ?
That's pretty cool.
No, but they look really ugly in a charming way. It's
It's
an English bulldog.
It's my version. Is at the Classic Car Club. That's my version of a Lotus.
Yeah,
like I just want that car. Like I think it's so beautiful in every ugly possible way.
Yeah, and we had one at the club for our show last week with
Did you really?
Trailer. Yeah, and the. It sounds awesome too. It sounds incredible.
Is it the Busso V6? What is it?
Yeah,
it's a V6, right? Yeah. That's the one I drove. That blue one. Yeah, I reviewed that very car, and he takes it to track days. It is fucking hysterical, that Suzuki Cappuccino. It's really small.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't think it was possible. It's a smaller Miata.
It's a 3/4 scale Miata.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's way more interesting than Miata.
How big is the guy in there? Because he looks tremendous.
He's pretty big. Yeah,
yeah, he looks like I don't know. Like I got nothing to compare it to.
There's some. You can do some like tall man mods to those kind of cars. You can like you get rid of the seat rails
like
and do
a gurney
shit
bubble. Like?
Yeah. Anything you guys before we get to we got some questions from the audience, but anything before we get to that, anything in the fleet that you guys got and it just tanked. Nobody wanted to drive it. It sat around.
No, we have excellent taste overall. It never happens.
You can't own your own failures.
You know what? One of them I gotta say is the new Mazda Miata. I get it, but man, what a great car! What a great car!
Yeah, really good car.
It's a nice car.
Awesome car. I had a lot of fun driving that.
Members not so into it though.
The first car in about 5 years, I accidentally broke the rear loose on it. Didn't see it coming. I was on a Miata. Out of all like the missile cars that we drive, that was the one that the rear stepped
just
out.
Happened.
I didn't see it happen.
But it steps out so nicely.
That was great, man. Well, we race them. We race spec Miatas.
What about you in the UK, Phil?
What would,
all winners? No, never.
We kind of.
Is the NSX that popular in the club? The new one?
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't get the. It's about that much. You know what I mean?
About that much, huh?
No, well, I mean, it's just hit that mark. Like we've had it for about 8 months now.
So it's full saturation. Everyone who wants to have a go has had a go.
So I could see it fall off. Bmw i8's been a bit of a weird one.
I hate that car.
Yeah.
I have to say though,
they're very popular in LA. It's a great quote supercar to sit in traffic in.
After I'm in it, like after I get over like how that A-pillar door opens up and you got to hit your head on it and how stupid it looks, all of that stuff and all like the fake noises it makes when you're actually driving, like, oh shit, it's pretty good.
You know what's kind of nice? The i3.
Yeah.
The i3 drives nicer than you think it will, and even on the bicycle tires.
Yeah, we just talked about the bicycle. Everybody's got one here. We're like, look at those little
tires. It actually handles.
Yeah.
Dude, I had one in the canyons. I was shocked at how much grip it had.
But that's also what makes it fun is those little tires too, right?
Yeah.
Because you could find the edge of adherence a little bit quicker.
And totally. They're cheap now used, aren't they?
They're fucking pennies. The problem with them is they intentionally have... So to call a car an electric car, right, as opposed to a plug-in hybrid, and get your electric car vehicle credits, you have to make the electric range longer than your backup generator engine range, okay? So it has an 80-mile electric range, but they couldn't sell it, so they put a 5-gallon gas tank in it. Intentionally. So it has less range on gas than it does on electric. So you have this tiny, stupid gas tank, and you have like 55 miles of gas range, and so you can't, like, a Volt is a plug-in hybrid technically. So you have your 50 miles of electric, but then you can go 300 miles on gas.
Right.
So it's like it falls in this weird in between because they intentionally put this tiny little gas tank in it.
I want to drive a Polestar 1. I want to see what that's like.
Oh, I just got an email about it, about like the launch party for it or something, and I didn't care about that. But I was like, "Can I drive one?" And they were like, "We'll get back to you."
Yeah, they don't have a lot of them. They did the launch of it on the East Coast at the car club. It's beautiful.
It looks really pretty.
Yeah, they did. They did it right.
I want to love Volvo so bad.
Yeah,
I tried.
Yeah,
Zach loves Volvo.
Yeah.
You might be able to.
Look, it's,
What
do you got going on?
He's got the
over
patch in his pocket.
there?
You don't want to get it dirty.
Volvo patch.
Yeah.
Just puts that on.
I grew up with all Volvos. You know, between my mom and my brother and I, we probably had a dozen.
Dude, 740
240s.
GLE manual wagon. I love it.
What was your first car?
My first car was a Mercury Villager Nautica edition.
Oh, dope. You rode the Wu-Tang in that?
Yeah.
Nautica.
Oh,
Dope.
The first car I bought with like my money, that was a hand-me-down from my mom. But the first car I bought with my own money was a Subaru Legacy GT.
Oh, that's kind of
Which
cool.
is a pretty decent
cool.
car.
Yeah. Good.
Pretty
Really
decent
good.
car. Yeah.
Zach's was a Volvo. What was your first car, Phil?
Hand me down was a 1976 Celica ST.
Yeah.
Ooh, those
So
are
much
cool.
better when you say
First one actually
Celica. It's
bought-
cooler.
Is it a Celica? What am I
No,
doing?
no,
In
it's,
America,
no, it's a
Celica.
Celica.
Yeah,
It's a
we'll leave you with-
Celica.
Then I
Yeah,
had-
we say it wrong.
and
We
in
wreck it. Yeah, so it's all on us.
1984, £800. I bought a Fiat Super Mirafiori 1600 twin cam. It was the
Ooh.
4-door, and but the Super Sport was the 2-door. That's really collectible now, but. So then I went on from that got into an accident. Then I had the 900 Saab 1979
Those are
900
good.
turbo.
Those were
cool
good.
car.
But
That's
they
cool.
were it was like, because they were originally, they made fighter jets, so it was
Yeah.
actually like a
They
cockpit.
really
from
that
jets.
round
and it,
windscreen.
and it
Yeah,
used
yeah.
to lock in reverse. You had the
Yeah.
key
Yeah.
down there, and you
Yeah.
slung it in the reverse. But I mean, that front wheel drive, turbo, big turbo lag. It was great fun.
So
And it was,
weird.
that was a
because
5-door. with a-
longitudinal engine with a transverse
That's right,
front differential.
and
So weird.
The turbo. I think we had 2 turbos on it. Turbo lasted 20,000 miles if your grandma's driving it, and if you're driving it like 5,000
Down the
miles.
street.
And they used to just, as soon as you saw the black smoke, you knew.
I learned to drive stick on a 900 turbo from like it was a late one, like a 93. It would be worth a lot of money now because they don't exist anymore.
I
At
learned-
Radwood, there was the cleanest 9000 Aero I have seen in a decade.
Yeah.
Fucking cool cars.
It's
man.
Cool
Yeah,
car.
that would be
So
the next
kind of
generation.
simple looking.
But how?
Great
I mean,
lines,
how did a make like Saab? How did they go wrong when they
GM.
were? I mean, they were they were at it, but they were at it. They were on it in the early 80s. They had the technology. They had a great. It was reliable. I mean, you didn't have to have the turbo. You could just have 900, 16 valve engine.
They had that
Great
Seinfeld
cars.
marketing.
When I was young, I wanted a 9.3. Just like one of those cars on my list.
That was all it
Yeah.
generated. It
Yeah, it was
moved
all
on in
started
the
from that.
9.5.
Yeah.
And they
Like
were
one
great
of the
cars. and then they-
richest kids I knew in high school got a Vigan when he turned 16. He was like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
the Vigan,
Right.
Wait,
fucking
remember when
shit."
we shot one for Tune? We shot
Yeah.
that with like a 9, and it was
really
that fast.
disappointing.
Yeah.
That was disappointing.
No.
As an adult,
Garbage.
As an
Garbage.
adult, the Vigan wasn't
I don't know,
very fast.
you were doing drive-bys, and I got into like do audio or something. I'm like, how's it going? You were like, it's not that good. It was like this real awkward pause.
Really fond memories of it.
That
The
car came
900
out
was
when a
cool,
lot of
though,
cars
didn't
were
it?
bad. That was
The
like,
900 Turbo was cool.
it's hard to get a bad car now. You could get a lot of bad cars then. You know?
Yeah, I mean the standards are so high now.
Yeah,
not
they
fair.
are. Let's get to some of these questions. We got a bunch. All right, we'll just go through them. Let's say, Matt, how many of your parents' cars did you L-ride back in the day? L-ride, Phil.
What does that mean?
That means when you drive a car while smoking an L or a blunt. An L-ride means to drive while smoking a blunt in America.
Right.
Parents' cars? None. My cars? Many. My cars, all of them. I had more sense than to smoke blunts in my parents' cars. I later, as an adult, when I would go visit my parents on the East Coast, would smoke blunts in their cars. No, just kidding. And thank you for the one. Toon Squad, regular commenter, says, cars are only used about 5% of the time they are owned. They are parked the rest of the time. With self-driving tech, individuals owning cars will make less and less sense. I think that's bullshit. Thoughts on a model similar to yours, meaning Classic Car Club, going mass market? What do you guys think about car sharing, aside from collectible sports cars?
Well, it's happening everywhere. I mean, Toro's doing it. We get Haggerty has got their car share on the classic side. You know, people are, doing the peer-to-peer stuff as much as they can.
There's room in the market for
for it.
it's a huge auto interest in this country, which is kind of why we're here, is just huge. And I think there's a lot of room in the market for stuff like Churro, for Classic Car Club, for a lot of the manufacturers now are looking at the model whereby are they going to sell cars in the future, or are they going to sell time in the cars? It's very difficult to come to an absolute answer to that question, because things are changing, technology's changing. It's a new world out there.
I think it's going to be hard to, like, people want, even if your car is parked most of the time, I think Americans especially want to have their car.
Agreed.
You don't.
yeah.
You want to have your shit in the glove box. You don't want to have to, you know, share a car with someone you don't like.
I hate when like the guys at the club just move my truck around and they move the seat. And
Yeah.
I've never
That
actually
would
said it
drive
to
me
them because I'm leaving.
nuts.
I'm like, don't stop, you know.
Drive me nuts.
Yeah,
when
it's-
people move my, when people adjust my mirror, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. You don't touch
Yeah.
those things.
I
man.
mean,
if
like-
you're gonna borrow someone's car, you just gotta deal with the way it is and just drive it.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
also,
Right?
what car club members really sign up for is experience, you know, and yeah, driving our cars is one of the experiences. Now we have the clubhouse and we do a lot of travel events and track days. They just want to experience life around cars and motorsport in different ways and give them access to it. Doesn't preclude ownership. Like, people still, you know,
do they ever
they still want
join it to test drive to buy later?
totally. Yeah,
that would happen
yeah.
all the time at the rental club.
Yeah.
Tim, can you move that window, like, or just move the camera that's in front? Mike, can you pull that camera towards you? Yeah, I just can't read the fucking shit. Yeah, that shot's gonna be a little off, but oh well. Let's see. I tried to have our medical school. James says, I tried to have our medical school formal at CCC. What is the best way to be an enthusiast, a car enthusiast in New York City on a budget? 5 to 10,000 up front, 300 a month. I like to drive, but even karting is expensive and far away. What does a car enthusiast on a budget do in New York City? That's tough.
Join the car club.
Yeah, it's $180 a month to be a clubhouse member and come hang
We're
out.
not
Is
snotty
that all?
about it.
$180 a month?
And then they can buy into driving events, so
Yeah.
they can still get the driving. They can't. They can't get the daily use of the cars, but
But if you have a group drive,
there's
you
a
could get on that.
boatload. Well,
Yeah.
you know, they can. There's a boatload of.
I would do that.
That's the way to
of
do it.
experiences you can, and then when he qualifies and he's a really successful surgeon, he can.
Yeah, dude, honestly, for that money, I would not own a car in New York City. I would join the fucking car club.
Yeah.
I would.
Well, if the statistic is you only use it 5% of the time.
Different commenter, but yes. Thank you, James. Lewis says, how long until Ferrari makes another car with a proper manual transmission? Never.
Yeah,
Never.
Not
Unless
happening.
they go
You don't
this
think they'll do
Aston
the
Martin
Porsche
route
move?
where they reissue old cars.
Well, not even that, but where they go, oh, the GT3 Touring. You know,
No.
you don't think Ferrari will do that?
No.
They don't.
For the
They don't
money.
like. They don't respond to what.
But
Customers
McLaren are
want, they
committed
don't, right?
to all electric by 2024 or
Yeah.
something.
Good
So that's
fucking
where
luck
it's
with
going.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where it's going. I mean, that's a bold
720,
statement.
by the way, one of my favorite.
Do you guys have
Cars
one? A
at the
720
moment.
is
We've been running their
Yeah.
press cars. So we've had them around,
Yeah.
but
It's
I
on
really
our
want
list.
one of my own now.
You guys
Dope.
get press cars in the fleet?
No,
Oh, no,
no,
you
no.
manage their press
Yeah.
cars, right? I picked one up from you guys. I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
about that. I picked up a 570 press car from you.
Yeah.
Who else would you trust it?
With you? With a 720?
Yeah.
Not members. Fuck no.
Our
Seven-
members, actually, I got to tell you, shout out to our members. Our members these days are really good drivers.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Love
I mean,
car culture.
Yeah, we have the luxury of having a community where we can get them into the culture of being better drivers.
Yeah.
Like, that's our kind of business reason behind our
even
guilty
like-
pleasure of going racing. you
Even
know?
2 weeks ago, like, you know, Phil and I are avid motorcycle riders. It feels like, let's go riding. And it was a Sunday, and it was just ice and snow, and we, like, sent out texts. Who wants to go ride with us? We had a bunch of guys riding through Bear Mountain with us, all freezing our balls
That's
off
awesome.
on motorcycles. Good fun, man. Always down for it.
I always thought I could never live in New
Always.
York because of lack of car access, but you guys are kind of changing my mind.
Totally.
No, if you live in New York and love cars, it's like a mandatory thing. I'd be there 8 days a week if I lived in New York City again. 100%.
We got to drive
I think
on
you guys,
Sunday.
you guys gave me a membership, by the way. I'm a house member.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that house. It's
Yeah.
easy to give me a member when I live 3,000 miles away.
Consider it a
Smart
wedding
guy.
present since you couldn't get married.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We should, when I come for the wedding, we should have a little drive. My wedding's going to be in Hudson, up north. It's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
lovely.
Oh, yeah. Really nice. Where are you having it?
At the Basilica.
Okay.
You know that old factory on the water?
Yeah, when is
Fucking
it?
rad.
When is it?
420, son.
Ah!
420.
Was that on purpose?
And Fish and Game is catering. James Beard Award
Yeah,
winning
Fish and Game, cool.
Zachary Palacio is catering. I'm so excited.
Can I go? I'm going to go.
Sure.
I
Come
give
on
good
down.
wedding gift.
Come on down. Corey says,
I think you just invited yourself to his wedding.
yeah, I
that
think
was
you
pretty
just
good.
did. Way to get
Gotta
that
get
one.
drunk at your wedding.
gotta-
Cross the sea.
You sent me those awesome
Your wife
the
like,
show
who
park
is your
gloves too.
friends?
No more podcasts.
Corey says, future weekend track toy. Should I get a 9972 Carrera S manual, a V8 Vantage 4.7 manual, or an Alpha 4C?
Oh,
as a track
not
toy.
an Alpha 4C, because the Alpha 4C is a great, fun little car. It only comes in a sequential gearbox. Not that I'm against that, but that car with manual steering and everything else should also have a manual gearbox. I think it comes down to, don't take this the wrong way, how experienced of a driver you are, because those other things are pushing a lot of power through them.
Buy a Radical RS3.
There you go. Bang.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
SR3.
You can't drive those on the street in America.
No.
No, you put it on
Yeah,
the
but he said
trailer,
he wants
you
a
drag
track
it there,
toy.
and you have a
Oh,
proper track
weekend
day.
track toy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so
then you need a
not
race
the
car,
4C,
trailer and
but
stuff.
what were the other ones? I can't see.
V8 Vantage 4.7, not really a track car.
No.
It's too.
They're great
too
baby
GT-ish.
GTs.
Or a
I've
9
actually really come to love those cars, but as a baby GT.
No, they're nice cars, but
Yeah.
not as a track car.
Yeah.
Or a 997-2 Carrera S manual.
That seems like an obvious one.
Get a
Get the
Z4
Porsche.
M Coupe.
A Z4M Coupe. That's
Yeah.
a good, that's
One
a
of
good
my
wild
all-time favorite
card.
driving cars.
Yeah. The last
All-time
BMW
favorite.
you could start with a key.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And you
I never
could
knew
never
that.
get in except with the key, because we've had a bunch of them.
And the button's always dead.
It just never worked. It's just never brand new. Never worked. I don't know.
That's funny. All
But
right.
a Z4M Coupe is a really nice track car. We have, if you go on our website, you can see ours. Ours is heavily worked for the track. It's one of the Phil hates it. It's one of my favorite cars I've ever driven.
And
That's
it's
true. I do hate it. I'm convinced. You know, I hate it so much. I'm convinced it's got a 2-litre engine in it. I don't even think it's an M. I am so, and I know it's a fucked up thing to convince yourself.
They're kinda
Why do
heavy.
I hate it so much?
I think
I think
they
you
are heavy
first
for
time
their
out in it,
size.
you were driving down the West Side Highway.
well, it's
you
very
were-
track ready, and
Yeah.
you know
it's
it is.
brutal.
Is that
on
it
the
with the
street.
fucking
Yeah, I
wing
mean,
on it?
it's got
Yeah.
it's
Whoa.
got scaffolding.
Oh,
in the
wow.
back.
Yeah, man.
It's got scaffolding. It's got crazy seats. It's got a big
rear
wang.
duster,
Big
real deal
wang.
Holyfield.
And
I like the wheels.
2-litre engine.
Wheels are good. It's got no power.
No,
It's savage,
an animal.
man.
Get a supercharger for it.
It doesn't need more power. It
No,
doesn't need
it's
more
good,
power. It's
but
perfect.
I'm
I'm not the kind of guy to throw more power at stuff. I just want to,
But
I'll
you
learn
could
how to
be.
drive it better.
Momentum.
Be faster. That's right.
It probably is the fastest thing I've ever driven on a track, to be honest. It's really fast.
Badass.
All right.
good.
Jonathan Monk says he watched the Spinelli Bring a Trailer and Classic Car Club video the other day. More of that.
Oh,
with
hey,
you guys,
thanks.
too.
There you go.
Cool, man. Cool.
Shameful indulgences. What is your automotive guilty pleasure?
Huh.
I masturbate into my tailpipes.
Well, I was waiting for someone else to say it first.
Yeah. Guilty pleasure. I don't even. What is the actual
Cold
definition
rolling.
of an automotive guilty pleasure?
Probably,
Because-
probably something that's like not a smart choice, but you know, like Aston Martin track car.
Actually, the answer is our entire fucking life.
your whole life and my
Our
whole
existence.
life.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
his
cool.
whole life.
Yeah.
we
I
did-
built an off-road 911, so there you go.
Yeah.
Which you guys should get one of those.
Yeah,
Safari. It makes a lot of sense in the city.
Well,
Zach.
so my.
Can we talk about Zach's car for a minute?
Well, I have a little aside though. My new idea. I'm gonna have to move to the suburbs. I got 3 kids, and I'm kind of obsessed with the idea that I can't sit in traffic burning gas. So it's like electric cars in my mind. My wife's cousin is converting classics to electric, so I want to do a Safari 2002 that's
Cool.
electric.
Yeah.
Yes.
That'd be great.
Yes.
It'd be really fun.
Yeah.
You can talk to the EV West guys in San Diego
Yeah.
down here. They sell the whole kits.
Yeah.
They're ready to go.
Yeah, do that. Long travel suspension.
sounds awesome.
Make like an all-season 2002. I can throw some like,
I'm with
concrete blocks in the back for the
That'd be
picture.
super
I'm
fun.
picturing it like those guys did with the GTV. There's
Yeah.
some guys that
Yeah.
Chopped Alpha.
yeah.
They put like
Great.
tractor tires on it.
It was great, and then they jumped it at Hoonigan and bent it in half.
Oh,
I
man.
saw that car, like known as dropped Alpha, right? I saw that at Radwood in Anaheim when I saw you there last year, and it was in the parking lot. It wasn't in the show, and it was my favorite. Well, because it's not from the '90s, right? It's my favorite thing there.
Off-road sports cars are very, very cool. I love my Safari 911. It is so fun to drive in the city. I go flat over speed bumps. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
Naoki built a gambler-ready 240 SX.
Oh, really?
It's
Naoki
insane.
runs a Drift 101, the intro to
It
drifting
has so
class out
much
here.
clearance down the center because it doesn't have a pumpkin, right? Because it's
Right.
IRS. So you look down the, it's more than a Wrangler down the center, because there's no
Ah,
pumpkin.
that's really
it has so
cool.
much clearance and a light
awesome.
bar. It's crazy looking.
I like
That's cool.
that very much. Grab the Wheel says, a fun manual wagon suggestion. I don't want to buy a CTS-V for 65 grand. Could I get an E46 wagon and swap in an M3 drivetrain?
No, I've got it. I drive one, except I'm keeping mine automatic. But 535 XI wagon with a manual. I actually have one. I'm going to sell.
Yo, hit up
He's
Zach.
got 2.
Stop
I've got
smashing
two.
the
He's got
table.
one for spares.
Sorry.
A 535i manual with a wagon with a manual. I like that very much.
Like like you can get the Burger Tune for like $200, and you have a 400 horsepower. Basically, like,
do you guys remember Burger Time? That was such a good game.
and
love Burger Time.
And there's a lot of arguments that could be better than like an M5 wagon because you have less weight in the front. You can get 400 horsepower.
I reviewed one a couple years ago, and I remember being very fast.
Yeah.
I like your suggestion. And Zach at ClassicCarClub.com.
Zach M,
ZACM at ClassicCarClub.com. Buy Zach's car.
I have a project. It would be rear-wheel drive too, because the front drive shaft's out of it right now.
Love it. There you go. I think that's
that doesn't
excellent.
make it rear-wheel drive. That makes it a broken four-wheel drive.
It all depends on your outlook.
I think it makes it rear-wheel drive.
I think it makes it adjustable.
Nate says air-cooled 911s seem to be softening. Is this trend going to continue? Where do you see these prices in 5 years? I'm thinking about going from a 997 Turbo to a 993 Carrera 2. I don't think they're going to go down.
No, do it. No, you're going to make.
Yeah,
it's not going to soften that much.
No,
it's not going to be crazy.
Yeah.
No,
yeah, I think they're low. Like you're seeing them. You know, Bring a Trailer is a good meter for that. I've seen a couple 993s recently. I'm like, that seems like good money for that. You know, but I don't think they're going to fall off a cliff. I think they're just kind of balancing out a little bit.
Yeah, and there's only so many of them. They're not making any more. Well, Porsche might, but they're $3 million if you want a new one. No, I mean, that's going to feel like a slow car to you going from a 997 Turbo to Carrera 2, but 993s rule. Buy one with 110,000 miles, not one with 90,000 miles.
Yes.
Because there's an $18,000 valve service at 100K that my car is in the middle of right now. Chewy Niblet, great username. Thanks for the great content. Yes, I'm looking for a semi-fun Monday to Friday sedan for my commute. Should I get a certified pre-owned Audi S4 or a Chevrolet SS?
SS.
Chevy SS is a good car. 2015 and up, Magna Ride, manual.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fast. Very, very fast.
Easy one for us.
The Audis are just too surgical. They're not fun.
Yeah, they're soulless. Actually, I like the S3 a lot better than the S4.
I could see that.
Smaller. Yeah. Where are we at, Tim? Oh, there we go. JDM says, just says thank you. You're welcome. Mark Malika says, what are some modern cars under $50,000 that won't depreciate? I was thinking about a 2011 1M, possibly an E90 Series M3, maybe an early Lotus Evora. 1M is a good one.
That seems like the safer one.
Mitsubishi Evo.
Yep, Mitsubishi Evo.
They're good money at the moment.
Volkswagen.
That's a good one. I like that.
R32.
Evo 9.
R32. R32 Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Volkswagen R32 is a good one as well.
Great one.
Yeah, you're on it. Skylines.
Yeah.
A Skyline or how, I don't know how modern a Skyline is. But.
E90 M3 is a really good one though, because only V8 M3 ever.
Yeah.
Last of the analog M3s really. You know?
Great
really good.
sounding. Every time I hear one at a racetrack, they sound the biz-nass. Get a manual without iDrive.
Yes.
They are out there.
Right.
No iDrive, no sunroof, manual, carbon roof.
Yep.
Hell yeah. The early Evoras, by the way, kind of suck. The S's are much better, and the 400s are way better than that. So I would, if you want an Evora, I would save your money. Wes says, what is the ultimate Porsche? For me, it would be a 997 GT3 with a ducktail instead of the wing. I bet that would be interesting and hairy. Anyone, ultimate Porsche? Prichinello?
Man, our brand new GT3 is pretty damn awesome.
Touring or winged?
Winged.
Winged?
Manual.
What about you, Phil?
It's coming out next year, the new all-electric Taycan.
Yeah.
It looks rowdy.
I think it looks amazing.
It does.
It's got 800-volt technology. They're going to be able to charge it twice as quick as a Tesla.
Do you have to get some crazy thing installed in your house to charge that?
There's been no comment on that. So
yeah,
yes.
I don't know how that's going to work exactly.
But it's going to be, I mean, it's really, it looks fantastic. It's going to
The Audi version looks good too, actually.
Yeah. Apparently them and Mercedes have developed technology on the West Coast, all American technology as well.
Merca. Zach, ultimate Porsche?
It's like asking to pick a favorite child, but it would be between R964 and my
an easy one.
My 912 2.5 short stroke rat rod.
We're, by the way, cutting off super chat questions. Don't add any more. We're gonna get, Tim, how many we got left? A lot, or is it the end? Okay, cool. Yeah, we got about 6 left. Great. And then we're gonna go to my house, look at my Countach, and maybe get dinner in Venice.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Going to Europe. Cameron says I'm going to Europe in June and driving the Nürburgring. Good call.
Can I add to that?
Yeah.
Go drive the Nürburgring because you have to drive the Nürburgring, and then go drive to Spa-Francorchamps and drive a real track.
Yeah.
Spa is the shit.
Jam.
Yeah, the statistics are bad too. I mean, it has almost the same elevation change and much shorter distance. It's incredible.
But what's the question?
Oh, should I drive an E36? All right. Should I drive an E36 325i, an FN2 Euro? I guess that means Civic Type R or something else. Cars are track prepped. Any other recommendations? I would go to like RSR Nürburgring, and buy something and rent something slow.
Yes.
Yeah, Renault Megane.
Yes.
Renault Megane was great.
Yeah, great.
A Swift.
Yep.
They have BRZs.
Yep.
Those are really nice.
No, not those though, because I did drive those there, and even with the traction control off, it still like cuts in, and you'll be in mid corner, and it'll just cut all the power.
On the BRZ.
And just throw all the balance off the car.
Well, there's like 3. I remember that car when we were sliding around once. There's like 3 different traction lights.
There's a bunch of different modes,
just and all that stuff, and you really have to get it right.
It does cut in all the time.
But
Renault Megane.
Mike's right. If you rent from see Ron at RSR, do a day at.
Ron is a mentalist, you would say in the UK, by the way.
He's
completely out of his mind.
He's incorrect.
Really,
and then
get him on the wine.
You go to Ron's. He's got this warehouse full of like fuck off GTRs and also just like let's talk about wine now. Just want to talk about fucking wine.
Yeah.
We got drunk at the Piston Klause after my sessions.
Yeah.
He brought out like 6-7 bottles. We were going.
Yeah. He talks about that more than cars. By the way, no one's ever left Piston Krause sober.
No.
Go to Piston Krause, by the way. That's something to do.
That's other recommendations. Go to the Piston Klause, have steak on a stone.
Yeah.
The other recommendation is 100% Spa.
Yeah.
Well, you can drive the car to Spa and then do a track day there, and they've got a good facility. They've got a new big facility there.
The drive
and if you
from
join the car club
Nürburgring to
before,
Spa
then
is worth the trip. Just that ride on those public roads.
It's fun, and you can tell when you get to Belgium because the roads instantly turn to shit.
Yeah.
The second you cross the line, it's like Germany, Belgium. But Spa's the best racetrack in the world, I think.
Oh man,
the surface is incredible.
Awesome. You drive the first half of that, like with the rear of the car, and then down the mountain, it's all like the front half of the car. It's
I
really
did an
good.
8-hour endurance in Radical Pro Sport.
Jesus.
Back in 2003. And it was in the rain, most of it. And we only had 2 drivers in our team, me and my buddy Jamie. And I've got to say, I think afterwards we slept for about 2 weeks. It was the most. I was fucked.
I bet.
I was too fucked to drink alcohol.
That's a problem.
Afterwards.
I mean, the focus and adrenaline for that. That must have been
a radical in the wet.
And it was just. It was just non-stop stress for 8 hours.
You know why else you should take a Megane from him? Is because then when you go to Spa in a Megane, you could do Eau Rouge flat.
Oh yeah,
so like a non-aero car, right? And you just get on it when you see this.
You've just advised someone to do Eau Rouge flat
in a rental car.
In a rental car.
Yeah, buy the insurance.
Isn't that the way to do it? That's the way to do it.
At least at Spa, they don't charge you for the Armco.
Yeah.
Well, it's when you arrive at the top at Radion and it's. You're not straight. You're looking at Armco there.
No, but
one more note.
That Megane, though, one thing to say, that is the only front-wheel drive car I've ever driven street form that will oversteer easily.
It's pretty badass.
Really good.
The other thing about going to Nürburgring, they do open days, and then I think they're called track days, like track days, and the track days are the days that motorcycles aren't allowed to be there. I love motorcycles. I've done it on a motorcycle. However, the motorcycles fall off, and then they shut down the track for an hour. So it's
you fall off and die.
If you're gonna go,
27.
If you're gonna go, like Nürburgring
died last year.
Nürburgring is a place that you could go and maybe only get one session because it's always shut down for bigger accidents. So if you could remove motorcycles from the day that you're there, you'll probably get more time on track.
Good tip.
That's a good note.
Yep.
If you're also over there, drive in the Alps if you can, because it's amazing.
Yeah.
Justin says, Justin was nervous about Zach taking over for some of the one takes, and Zach is doing a good job.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you, Justin.
I owe Justin $20 for saying that.
Jeff says, I just bought a manual Porsche 997 for $33,000 and love it. Will early 997s ever creep up in price? Don't know.
Probably. They're just too new, right?
Yeah.
I think they will,
Yeah.
They'll hit a floor. The floor is like 30.
Too new to be old, too old to be new. They're right there.
Yeah, I've already seen it. Like, we had a low miles S that I traded for a member, and like I couldn't buy that car for what I sold it for now.
Don't be the guy who sold the Miura.
Yeah. Don says, hey, Mike and Zach, it seems like you guys are in need of some inventory that appeals more to the demographics here. Oh, I guess you mean in L.A.
Yeah. What
are
do you
you
think?
looking for a purchaser? I think he wants a job. Are you accepting applications?
Yeah, right. Jobs at careers.
No, send it to Zach M at classiccarclub.com. Zach M, ZACM, no K in that.
At classiccarclub.com.
Yeah, and it helps if you can give me like a 10-page novel on how much you love cars and why you're cut from CC cloth, because no one else has done that before.
All right. Oh wait, these are all separate. 3 separate questions. Oh no, Henry says 3 left. A couple months ago, I bought a stock NA Miata on your recommendation. I have budgeted $3,000 for mods to improve it. What would you recommend?
Oh, this is Zach.
Suspension.
Yeah,
number one.
number
which would probably take $1,500.
Coilovers?
Parts.
Is that coilovers you mean?
I mean, just buy the Spec Miata.
Yeah, Spec Miata kit,
and then put softer coils in. You know, just run that. That's perfect.
That's right. Hood ornament.
Ornament. And then I don't know. I mean, after that, like, exhaust, make it a bit more visceral.
What comes in the Spec Miata kit?
I don't know.
Okay,
but they're all the same. it's like ground control coils and some other stuff.
I would just do the suspension. I don't think you need to do anything else.
Yeah,
it's a good little car.
Tires,
I don't even think
suspension and tires.
I don't even think it needs an exhaust
wheels
kit.
and tires.
What?
Wheels and tires, like Panasports and a good set of tires.
Yeah, some good grippy tires. Then
who is it? Is this Mike Roselli asking these questions?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and exhaust, and you're probably done then. You could probably make it breathe a bit better somehow, but I don't know.
You're not, for $3,000, if you're also doing suspension, wheels, and tires, you're not going to have much left for your engine.
Yeah.
You need a lot of money to make.
But
one
breathing
of those
mods,
go fast.
So it doesn't matter.
I agree. Suspension, wheels, and tires. Then you're good.
Yep.
GME 1775. Last one. It's a 2-parter, but it's really one. What 911 vintage would you recommend with a $40,000 budget? I just drove my first 75 Carrera and loved it. Unfortunately, I also want the most motorsporty experience I can get, which my budget doesn't seem to allow for. Cue the case for a slightly track-prepped 996. I miss the vintage experience from my other street-driven cars.
You could probably do a really nicely modified SC
for 40. Yeah. I don't know about nicely modified. You might get a badly modified SC for 40.
Goobered one.
You could get into an SC for 40, I think. Yeah. Probably.
Which is crazy because not so long ago they were like $13,000 all day long.
Yeah.
Or don't buy a 911, buy a Cayman S.
That too.
Yeah.
That's actually a great recommendation.
Yeah. Cayman S.
Or a 914.
One of the favorites of all time.
What's that?
Or a 914. No, don't do that.
Those are getting expensive too.
The good ones are, yeah. They're actually, when I look at a 914, it seems like I could break it in half like this, like it's super flimsy, and I was surprised when I drove it that it felt a little more rigid than I expected it to.
I look at them and I'm like,
good.
They're so ugly that they're
ugly.
actually, but you know when things are, as we talk about, like things are so ugly they come back to kind of being cool.
Alpha CZ.
Yeah.
SC. Alpha SC. Yeah. I say go for whatever the nicest 911 SC is that you can afford. There's nothing new under that sun, unfortunately. And Tommy L, just with a donation. Thank you very much, sir. He's inspired. Boys, that was a good show. Thank you for coming by.
Hey, man, thanks for having us.
I appreciate that. Yes. Plug everything now. Classic Car Club London, Classic Car Club New York. Anything else?
Yeah. Classic Car Club LA, I guess.
Yeah,
LA upcoming. I'll help you guys find a piece of dirt.
2019 we'll be there.
We have really good T-shirts.
And the best thing about it is I'm going to be the one launching it. So
are you really?
You're going to get me live and direct every day.
Illegal immigrants ruining our taking our jobs.
Definitely. We call it talent.
Are you looking forward to escaping England for a while?
Yeah, I think I'm done.
You'll like it out here. Sunshine's free and weed's legal.
He's already Brexit.
He's doing a fills.
I'm spending more time over here than ever. So.
Well, I look when you are here. I will. Does my house membership in New York good here?
Oh yeah.
No.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'm taking.
That was an extra $400 a month.
I will be at the bar. And we'll do a little thing. I'd love to help you guys out, but Classic Car Club, if you're in New York, you don't need a car. You can just join Classic Car Club. That's the thing. And even if not, you can just hang out.
Have cars.
Yeah, they all have cars.
Our members have cars.
Yeah.
Some of our members have great connections.
It's a sickness. They can't stop. But it'll scratch some of that Automotive itch, and it's fun to hang out, you know?
Yeah. I like it.
Come by and say hi.
Yeah, that too. Drink at the bar. Eat at the restaurant.
Now you got to be a member.
Oh, you do have to be a member. Okay, cool. Not open to the public. Book it for an event. Also have to be a member, I think,
But you
for
can
that.
come from 9 to 1, check out the cars, say hi.
Oh, you can? There's
Yeah,
like
man.
public hours?
Yeah,
but
we're
you know,
welcoming people.
Cut down your cable package and get a Clubhouse membership because, you know, cable costs more than that.
Yeah, who watches cable anymore? You got Netflix.
Fuck that.
Right.
Mike, Phil, and Zach from Classic Car Club. Thank you guys, gentlemen. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, live audience. I'm going on vacation, so this is going to be the last show for us until after Christmas, but we'll be back after that, so have a good holiday. And the Classic Car Club, fuck me. Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, and ideally, something to say. See y'all later.